Hardly a factor now as he finds Armstrong. Armstrong falls over, confronted by Gaston, but gets away. Long kick towards half forward. Ashenko in best position. Lynch behind, though, has taken the mark.
That ball carried in us. I think it caught a lot of players out then. It went over Ashenko's head easily in the end.
Timely nudge by Lynch, too. Took him under the ball. Alistair Lynch will kick from inside 50. A player who can take a mark. This kick is off to the left-hand side by a long way, out of bounds on the full in the left full forward pocket.
Well, very poor effort from there after such a good mark inside the 50. Alex Ashenko to bring the ball in. Umpire Cameron making him move around 1 more metre. The policeman on point duty. Ashenko's kick in short. Danger here. Kapler takes the mark. Plays on. Off the left boot. It comes back, but not enough. It's Fitzroy's first score. Behind Darren Kapler.
Darren Kapler been a very, very good player for Fitzroy, having an excellent season.
He is a goal-kicking wingman too, isn't he? Likes that long kick. Margin is 6 points. Here's Lockyer favouring the outer side. McKenna. Lyon crashed into him. McKenna will get the free kick out there. A couple of very talented youngsters going head-to-head. Now 50 metres against Fitzroy. Sloppy football. Cameron pulls the mark back to centre wing.
So it was pretty unlucky then for Collin. He just happened to be running past and the balls hit him.
There goes the kick from McKenna. Inside 50. Stevens almost the mark. It's been paid. Hung on just long enough. Brett Stevens. And a handy acquisition starting this game well. To the outer side. Clayton has the mark. He's at right half back. Back in the side last week. High kick towards centre wing. Ashenko almost the mark in front there to Strooper. McKenna gets a deflection across to Lamb. He kicks it high towards half forward. Fitzroy with the numbers off Rue's hands. Ironmonger a bit slow. Stevens off the ground through the legs of the oncoming Waterman towards the outer side. Miles grabs the ball and pulls it back towards the pocket. Succeeds only in putting it out of bounds on the full.
So Scott Clayton will take the free kick for Fitzroy. Right half back, close to the boundary line. Still only to half back. And the mark taken by Blakey. Now he goes longer, up over the wing. 2 against 2. Thumped forward by O'Connell. Well played. Lamb gets it up the ground. Through Turner it goes. And here go the Eagles. Barrage to centre half forward. Glendinning with Pert. Glendinning at the back.
Yes, as we watch this in replay now, the pushing continues, and Ross Glendinning just in the right spot then with just a deft nudge.
As a beautiful technician with his kicking style. Watch this one. Very high, slightly away to the right. From the wrap and he misses. 1-2 the Eagles, 1 behind Fitzroy.
Uncharacteristic, that sort of kick from Ross Glendinning. Pert wants to play on, but the goal umpire was still waving the flags. So 1-2 to a behind. And what is a glorious day, temperature around 15 degrees. Beautiful for football. Just a chill on the edge of the breeze as Roos takes the mark from the kick in. Paul Roos, left half back. Goes towards centre wing into a nest of Eagles players. Didn't look, couldn't have looked. This is Ashenko. Back towards full forward yet again. Glendinning in front. Pert over the top. Gets his fist in there and puts the ball out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. The early going of this game. First term is Ross Glendinning, the leading goal scorer for the Eagles. He played about 8 minutes. Ironmonger with strength. Harris tried to go through the pack. This is Mainwaring. Right half forward Mainwaring. Taken high. No free kick. Scrambles a kick to a more central situation. Matera to Lamb. Here's a goal coming up for the Eagles. Dwayne Lamb. I think he's missed. He should have got that. Had a bit of luck. Mainwaring's kick is spilling across to Matera. Clever hand pass, but Lamb didn't get the goal. So 1-3 to a behind.
And the Eagles squandering a few opportunities. Pert kicks in. A good 60 metres. Big pack. Climbs high. Comes to the front. Matera. He's got Barrage going past. Lines up and misses again to the right. 3 kicks in a row by the Eagles have all gone right.
much them away with a side that just lacks a little bit of confidence and is so keen to do well.
Very disappointed with Fitzroy. 5 players up in the air for that mark then.
Kick towards the outer side is marked by Gastiv. John Gastiv centers the ball, intended for Glendinning, waiting behind Matera. Well, his man gave the contest with Glendinning. That was Harris, and as a result, Matera stayed on the ground. Pert was too far behind Glendinning. Now, Wally Matera, his accuracy in recent games hasn't been the best. An opportunity to post the second goal for the West Coast Eagles. He's kicking from only 30 metres out on a very slight angle. Matera gets the goal.
Well, so far, the majority of the play has been in the Eagles' forward line. And just watching Fitzroy, how the way they're moving the ball out as we watch this in replay from Matera, I would suggest that almost split the middle. Fitzroy going very short out of defence and very wide. So just see if that continues, but they really are playing it very short out of defence at this stage.
£16-1 as umpire Cameron restarts play. Schenko with a couple of knocks at it, comes to Kapler. His hand pass backwards to Blakey. Well played to Lyon. He saw peripheral vision out there, wind, but the kick didn't travel far enough. Oh, great interchange by the Eagles at half forward. Turner's hand pass to Mainwaring. He lines up from 40 and has kicked it.
Great running play by the Eagles, and as you mentioned, Drew, the kick out of the centre from line saw a player wide and it just didn't come off. It was a great change of mind, and then great tap on by Rance. Tremendous quick handball then, and really the Fitzroy player was entitled to go a bit lower at that player's body and hopefully tackle him.
So we're back in the middle. The Eagles starting very well. They lead by 21 points. Schenko goes up and wins it decisively to Rance. Waterman leads in the race towards the outer side. Well shepherded by Gastiv. Swings it back towards centre half forward. Clayton goes back and takes the courageous mark. Clayton plays on by hand to Kapler. They've got a spare man on the grandstand side. Conlon. Now they're out of options. He'll have to put the ball out in front of Ironmonger if you don't mind. So Big John strides after the ball. Backs himself against Schenko. McGrath in trouble. Bundled across the boundary line. Will have a throw in. Looking good there for a while, but I'm sure Conlon was a little startled when he looked up and saw what lay ahead. Here's Ironmonger. Wins it down. Well done. Gastiv grabs the ball at right half back though. Ample time to settle. In front is Harris. Knocked away well by Matera. It's out of bounds. No, it's going to be a free kick to Harris. Matera reaching over the top. Interfering with Harris, who goes in short, and the mark is taken on centre wing by Clayton, who's picking up a few possessions now.
Scott Clayton, whose role in most of his league career has been as a stopper. Here he goes from centre wing towards centre half forward. Ironmonger, pretty well short of centre half forward. Wind pulled off his kick, but he gets it away. A rare sortie forward for Fitzroy. Comes to Osborne off the left boot. A clever kick, a beautiful goal.
Marvellous skills then by Richard Osborne, whose form in the recent weeks has been pretty good. And he certainly had it down early in the season. That quick kick by Wynn, terrific body work, and then marvellous skills on the left-hand side. And an excellent goal from Fitzroy.
Barrich off the ground, and coming on is Lewis for the Eagles. There's Chris Lewis for his first run. Just under 14 minutes remaining.
Schenko opposed to Ironmonger. Wind couldn't handle it. Roos with courage diving after it. Lewis off the ground moving the ball. Once again the Eagles getting in behind the pack. This is Mainwaring. Run down by Kapler. Glendinning on the half volley to Matera. Pulls it back towards full forward. Stevens in front. Played it brilliantly. Like a keeper going to his left-hand side down leg side. Just pushing the ball across the boundary line. He's a worried coach, although probably reasonably happy with the start he's got. 15 points the difference. Eagles lead. Midway through the term, Ironmonger clean possession, feeds it nicely out to Harris. He breaks away from defence, kicks towards centre wing. McGrath worked his way to the front nicely. O'Connell goes back after it, claimed by McGrath. Lewis bearing down on the ball. Miles. Lyon. That was indiscriminate play by Lyon. The ball was in there, and Lyon went in rather crudely. And Miles will take this free kick forward at centre wing.
Up to centre half forward. Streaming down the ground, Glendinning bumped out underneath it. No whistle for that. The crowd wanted one. Well played Anir. Loses it though to Pert. Outside of his boot. Close to the boundary line. He bounces in the field of play and will have a throw in. Interesting stat you came up with last week, Dennis, how poorly the Eagles had started games in the last 5 or 6 weeks. This is well ahead of their schedule.
Yes, the average was about 9 points over the last, I think, 5 weeks. Ironmonger couldn't hang on to the ball. This is Kapler breaking away towards half forward with a kick. Lynch is in front. Couldn't hang on. Zanotti did well. Scrambles it. Kapler's in front. McGrath an opportunity. Wind has got it now. Clever hand pass to Conlon. Needed to go again and does. Lynch 20 metres out and closing. Alistair Lynch gets the second goal for the Lions.
This is actually a pretty good build-up then. All started with Darren Kapler getting the first kick forward, and then being, as we see this handball there from McGrath over to Conlon. Conlon almost going to take him on, decided better against it and gave the handball to Lynch.
There would be some cynical watchers who would mark that hand pass down from Mickey Conlon. They reckon he doesn't do it too often. Scott uncontested out of the middle. Socket forward for the Eagles. And a race on here. Brockhurst leads. Oh, taken out of it beautifully there by Rance. But Rance's backup man couldn't keep the ball in play. Waterman. Bring back Big Ron is altogether a one-man's opinion over in Perth.
There's the boundary throw in. Brockhurst off hands. Clayton out wide. Wind over the top. Strooper's got it now. Blakey. Well done by Blakey. Fitzroy looking better. This is Armstrong. Armstrong across to the run of Gale. Gale long. That's a pretty good looking kick from Gale. I think he might have got it. No, just missed. Well done by Michael Gale. Good passage of play, that one.
Well, they got out of their depth early, Fitzroy, but they've come back in the latter stages of this first quarter. Kick towards Mainwaring on the 50. And the Eagles seeming to have a better system out of defence today than they had in Sydney last week. Comes to the back. Strooper's hand pass is good to Wind. His kick too far for Gale. Gale good enough. Good scoop up and met solidly high by Mainwaring and wins a free kick. The temper's becoming a little frayed. Michael Gale with this free about 70 metres out. Centering kick. Lyon nowhere near it. Comes to the back to Miles. Gets the hand pass away to Gastead. Under no pressure whatsoever on centre wing. Time for another bounce. Draws a man. Oh, shocking kick. Clayton is there. The hand pass under pressure goes back to Gastead. No tackling coming from Fitzroy. Up to Glendinning and past him. Stevens leaves his man Ashenko and does well. Well played, Stevens, and a good kick to Keane.
Ball on centre wing. Comes across to Clayton. Clayton goes down towards half forward. Lyon. Good chest mark. He's away. To Armstrong. On his left foot. Not a good kick. Or was it? It was intended for Osborne. Wasn't all that short of the mark. Now Conlon in the pocket. Needs a shepherd. Wasn't forthcoming. Lockyer did brilliantly. And forces the ball out of bounds. Suddenly Fitzroy looking better.
Forward line very open, Dennis. They're getting a lot of run through there, and just looking at the Eagles forward line earlier, it was a bit blocked up.
Eagles 3-4, Fitzroy 2-2. Last time they came forward, Fitzroy showed too much of the ball to the defence, squaring it too early, and that's a bad mistake on a big ground like this one. If you show it at around about centre half forward, they can run it down the ground. It's to go in a little deeper before you bring it across. It's one down by Lynch. Conlon missed the ball, picked up by Lewis. Towards the outer side. Waterman surrounded. No one down the ground for him either. Unloads with a long kick. That was a big kick and a good one in the circumstances. And Worsfold worked his way to the front and took a very good mark.
John Worsfold to bring the ball into the forward line for the Eagles. Ashenko's down there and Glendinning both with height. Worsfold gains himself about 25 metres. Glendinning. Bert spoils. Comes to the back to Harris. Off to Roos, who's been pretty quiet so far, Paul Roos. Kick wide to Blakey. Up towards centre wing. Lyon is there. Weight of numbers beat him. Comes to a near. Beautiful pass. Glendinning. Pert gets to the front. Just gets a fingernail to it. Still with Gary Pert. Paddles out and all Fitzroy. That was well played by Pert. And the hand pass through Clayton to Kapler. Beautiful pass to centre wing Gale.
Gale inside to Armstrong. Armstrong long towards half forward. Great kick. No, not quite the carry. McGrath does well. Now he needs support. He's over the ball. That's holding it. Well, his mind was racing then, McGrath. He was trying to get it out, but his hands wouldn't respond. He knew where it had to go. Like a rabbit tunneling in there. 3-4-2-2. This is O'Connell. High towards centre field. Ironmonger should have done better. Rance comes in behind and takes the mark. No play on is the call, so Ironmonger, keen to make amends, dives on top of it. Well done by the Giant. Fitzroy bench. Ford and Carafa. Umpire Saville to bounce it down. Scott up. Ironmonger goes again and finishes up with Scott. Once again, Armstrong gets it out, taken by Clayton. McGrath should mark this. No, knocked away. Opportunity behind. Lynn showed courage, but it was socked away from him. Lewis tidies up and chips the ball across to Scott.
Scott, centre of the ground. Off the left boot. Wide to Glendinning with a big long run at this. Gets there late, but punches to the front. Barrage. Glendinning still there and applying the tackle 70 metres from goal. The umpire comes in and will ball it up.
Mashenko's off. Pios is on.
Eight-point advantage to the Eagles with just on 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Big pack around this. Comes to Blakey. Wind to half forward. McGrath is there. And O'Connell messed that one up. And Miles takes the ball out of play. Alexashenko into the dugout.
We've got his song at half-time today, too. It could have been. Over the ball, Kapler. Battle after it, Kapler with a lot of courage, opposed to two, Pios and Scott. Ties it up nicely. Bounce on the logo on the outer side. 3-4 Eagles. Fitzroy 2-2. The Eagles getting the first 3 goals of the game. Clean possession to Ironmonger. Close quarters, gets it out. Lyon can't control it. Pios comes away with it. Sends it towards half forward. Well done again by Stevens, playing very well. And again over the top. Great stuff by Brett Stevens. Harris a little bit tentative. This is Gale who's looking good too. Lays it off. It's taken by Stevens to Kapler. Kapler can kick it a long way. McGrath leads to the pocket. That's the direction the kick takes. And McGrath's taken the mark. Conlon's on for the short one. It's in the air for a long time. Over the top, Lockyer. Zanotti comes away. In short, Gastiv over the top, Armstrong. Mainwaring behind, picks it up nicely. On his own half-back line to Gastiv. Needs support, John Gastiv. Goes with the left foot down towards half forward. Tailor-made for Roos to knock away. Roos goes again. Great contest from Rance. Went nowhere. Through the legs of Ironmonger. Swooping on it, Lewis. Hooks it down towards full forward. The Eagles have got the runners to the ball. Trouble here for Fitzroy. 3 at playing 1. Inside 50, Matera's running away from his own goal. Goes in short to Glendinning. What a mess they've made of it. Miles an opportunity, and he's missed. 3 against 1, the only 4 players inside 50. It was like a fast break in basketball. What? The goal umpire said it was a goal? That certainly wasn't a goal.
Well, let's have a look at this in replay. That as you called, Dennis, they really did almost mess this up. And from where we sat, it didn't look like a goal.
No, what? The crowd are laughing. He's missed. It's a behind, so 4-5 to 4-2.
Now under half a minute remaining for the quarter. The Eagles by 3 points. Pert kicks in for the Lions. Another 60-metre kick. Rance shrugs off Roos and takes the mark. Time running out. Rance a centering kick. Glendinning is there. Beautiful lead. It comes to the back of the pack. Strooper. Turner's won some pretty hard balls today. He gets in there and forces a ball up.
Just an observation, Malcolm. Fitzroy having a lot of problems across half back.
Yes, indeed.
There's the siren for quarter time. The Eagles 4-5 lead.
It's in only its second year in the expanded league, and you couldn't ask for a better man for the job. The cool-headed, classically built Glendinning is a born leader, Brownlow medalist and All-Australian, who's regarded as one of the nation's finest players of the past 20 years. Glendinning's speed and aerial strength make him a vital member of the Eagles' line.
And at the present time, Ross Glendinning's having a great duel with Gary Pert, and that's been the order of the day in this first term. Some great individual clashes, and these sides going at it, Malcolm, a very even first half hour.
Yes, it certainly was, Dennis. Just to bring up a point, that I thought that the forward line of the Eagles worked better with Phil Scott playing alongside Glendinning in the pocket, that it gave them two avenues. The latter half, when Scott went on the ball, who's a very, very good ruckman, and Schenko off the ground, what it means then is that Ross Glendinning's the only person up forward, and there's tremendous pressure on him. The ruckman dropped back on him. I just think it looked better in tandem. As we watch some of these highlights, that's Dean Turner's first goal of the game, and obviously first goal for Dean Turner, and a great left foot kick. Just also line. This is the one where he saw it out the corner of his eye, and then a great front forward, and some tremendous team play here by the Eagles to set up a goal for Chris Mainwaring. It's been a very, very even first quarter. I really would just like to see that tandem forward line. And just looking at the stats, very, very even, as you would expect with the scoreboard. The marks are interesting, 22-13, and that really is because Fitzroy have played short games out of a short kicking game out of the back line.
What about Fitzroy's hand passing? 40-21.
Yes.
Let's go down now to Tony Bahagia. Tony?
Yes, thanks, Dennis. Well, you're right. David Parkin was very happy with the handball of their side towards the latter stages, but very concerned with the centre square where they failed to get it out once. While John Todd felt they started to become a little bit tentative towards the end of that quarter, they must attack the ball harder and let the game happen. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. 3 points the margin then. The Eagles lead it. Back home, first time in a month.
And Dennis, just going back to your starts, if you said they've averaged 9 points, it's been a better start by them, most definitely.
Yep. Fitzroy's big problems, we touched on it right near quarter time. Across half back, the Eagles getting a lot of numbers in behind the half back line. Start of the second term at Subiaco Oval. That's our score line. Umpire Cameron bounces it down. Scott opposed to Ironmonger, falls at their feet. Worsfold tries to paddle it out. Waterman did well. O'Connell, a high kick. Kapler has been a star, takes the mark on his chest.
Fantastic Kapler, 9 possessions in the first quarter. And away go the Lions. Roos a chance to bang a long one forward. Quite as long as sometimes. Thumped away by Miles, but goes behind him. Conlon overruns, all Eagles. A bit of a fumble by McKenna. And a second grabber by Anir, but they're out of trouble now. Miles, who kicked a goal which wasn't a goal in the first quarter. Over centre wing he goes. Roos stays at the back, and that ball is thumped over the boundary line. Terry Board on the ground, number 42. A couple of Eagles stalwarts there, and enjoying a nice hot cup of coffee. Yeah, just a bit of a nip in the air, but a beautiful day in Perth.
Boundary throw in. Scott comes from behind and wins it. Taken away by Roos, though. Long kick towards half forward. O'Connell and McGrath wide of the pack, an opportunity for Lyon. With him is Miles. Miles fell over. Lyon still over the ball, does well, gets it out to McGrath. McGrath has the ball on the outer side to Kapler. Harris dragged off it, should have shepherded for Kapler and let him keep going. Worsfold, little chip pass, awkward one for Pios, and the ball handling again of the Eagles lets them down. This is Armstrong. He's already kicked a goal. Down towards the full forward area. Zanotti comes out, shrugs one tackle, gets it across to Anir. Anir's hand pass intended for the boundary line. Gale tracks it back. It's out of bounds and the ball will be thrown in. And that's been a trait, certainly in this first quarter and a bit. The Eagles fumbling under no real pressure. A few opportunities have gone begging because of it. One down by Scott. Worsfold trying to force his way through. Ironmonger does brilliantly to Blakey, to Armstrong. Armstrong the high kick inside 50. Lynch is in front. Up he goes and he takes a very good mark. Lynch was in front of Zanotti, found himself behind O'Connell, who was coming back, but somehow managed to hang on.
O'Connell was walking back to take a kick. I don't know whether he's expecting a kick, but he dead set thought he had first touch. Alistair Lynch, who kicked a goal in the first quarter, one of 3 former Hobart players in the Fitzroy lineup with Clayton and Armstrong. And this from right in front and 40 metres out. It looks pretty good, and the Lions have hit the front.
It's Alistair Lynch in only his 10th game of league football, but he certainly is a likely-looking type. He's only a lightly built lad, but he really has got some sticky fingers, and almost today he's already almost taken a couple of very good marks, and I guess he almost took that one, but it was obviously paid.
Fitzroy 5-2. The Eagles are 4-5. Eagles netting the next goal. Armstrong is dragged off it. Pios comes away towards half forward with a kick, and a good mark is taken by Ransom. 50 metres. That was silly football in there by Ward, who knocked the ball away from Rance after he'd taken what was a good mark. Another 50 metres goes right down towards the kickoff line. So Murray Rance would appear to be a certainty directly in front to put the Eagles back in front. Old habits die hard. Rance off to the left, just snuck it in.
Well, it had to be a goal, though. If the point was given us a goal in the first quarter. Look, I was just thinking about what Tony Bahar just said to David Parkin, saying about the Fitzroy side not getting the ball out the centre, and the same thing is happening in this quarter, as we see that a certain 50-metre penalty, and that's what the rule's there for, and 100% right by the umpire. But they are having a lot of trouble in the centre of the ground, Fitzroy, in getting the ball out.
Usually they start with Ross Lyon in the centre square. He's not there today. He's across half forward. He's been there throughout.
3-point lead to the Eagles, and the Fitzroy runner having a word with 19-year-old Ward, who gave away the 50-metre penalty there and cost them a goal. Here's McKenna marking at half-back for the Eagles. Drives straight up the centre of the ground to centre half-forward. The Rovers down to contest. Wind with Matera. Oh, overrun by Roos, who's having a down day. The other number 1 picks up Matera and goes for goal from 45. He'll nearly make it. Touched right on the line.
Rhett Stevens getting back in the nick of time there. The Eagles lead by 4 points. This is Pert. Long kick. I think intended for Kapler. He flew from behind. Remains standing. Well played, Kapler. Long towards half forward. Who's got the leg speed? McGrath should be the first to arrive. Lamb in close attendance. Lamb very hard to move off the ball. Takes it out of bounds. Waiting for the whistle that time. For a moment, I thought it wasn't forthcoming. Boundary throw in. The attacking 50-metre line for the Lions. Scott and McGrath will do the ruck work. Scott flicks it backward of the pack, taken by O'Connell. And Near in real trouble. Armstrong committed to the ball. Maybe it would have been better just hanging off and letting the ball come onto the player. But Armstrong, you can't query that. And now we've got a few problems down there. And Armstrong wore one in that congestion. And the player's getting a little bit heated.
And Armstrong still down, holding his head while the blue continues.
The umpires just back off from all of this. Something that's a little foreign to what I've seen in football in recent seasons in the WAFL. The umpires just circle the pack with their notebook.
Yes, Peter Cameron was got right amongst that then, and I mean they do try and not do that, but I think that Peter Cameron's been experienced around long enough to understand and try and call it all down.
I missed him. He was in the middle of it. I was watching umpire Saville. Cameron was surrounded. You're right. The umpire's going to ball it up.
Armstrong thought it was his free kick, and he was walking back to kick for goal. But umpire Saville takes it over, balls it up just inside the 50. Scott doing well in ruck. Oh, lucky kick by Worsfold, straight onto the chest of Waterman. Barely 10 metres, but the mark paid. Wide to Miles, who's doubled up from defence. Good running by the Eagles. Glendinning with Pert. Pert climbs high to punch down. Oh, Glendinning clever to Pios. He dashes inside 50 and goes for goal and has just missed it.
Intelligent play then by Ross Glendinning, just to tap the ball in front of him, and then as he fell to the ground to tap it on to the running Eagles player. Fantastic play from Ross Glendinning.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Grandstand side with a kick. Fitzroy outnumbered, at least close to the ball, but Clayton the first to arrive. To Roos, to Kapler. Kapler and Zanotti, that would be interesting. Kick goes towards half forward. McKenna comes up to meet the ball. left it behind. Lamb couldn't control it. O'Connell's got it now. Zanotti. Body's going in pretty solidly. Clever kick by Zanotti. Gets it out to Worsfold, who has the ball on centre wing. And the board wants to be careful here again. Could take his total to 100 in the space of about 5 minutes. Norwich is armed to the crowd. Rance has taken the mark down towards left half forward. Murray Rance playing well at centre half forward. A valuable acquisition for the Eagles this season. Glendenning, big mark over the top. Good kick too, right into his path. Lewis on a lead now. The ball too high for Lewis. Wind goes back. Great courage shown down there by Amir and Wind. Lewis picks up and has kicked it behind from about 20 metres out.
It's one of the problems with Paul Roos then. Murray Rance, when Paul Roos goes his sorties forward, Murray Rance quite often left alone by himself, and that was the occasion, happened on that occasion, and nearly costly.
6 more scoring shots for the Eagles, but a lead of just 6 points. 5-8 to 5-2. They've squandered a few opportunities. Hurt in short to Kapler. Kapler to the far side to Roos. Couldn't mark, bumped off it by Rance. A good pick up by Blakey. A hand pass into Stevens. Centre half forward, good mark taken at the back here by McGrath. Off with the hand pass to Conlon. Might nearly score this. Osborne gets back there, and the ball goes out of bounds in the forward pocket.
Why would you hand pass in that situation? Boundary throw in alongside the behind post. 8 minutes gone, second term. The amount remaining, you can see. Gastiv does well. Crashing in was Gale. It's going to be a West Coast Eagles 3. It'll be taken by Scott, who's been a wonderful player over the course of the season for the Eagles. Hugs the boundary line. Up over the top goes Miles. Kapler waiting behind. What a game he's having. Kapler goes in short. Intended for the man down there, Harris. On all fours, he gets it across towards Gale. Gale looking for support. McGrath falls over. Off the ground by Lamb. Side puts it out wide. And hugs the boundary line. Miles fell over. That appeared to go out. Not blown out by the boundary umpire. Scott's got the ball. Goes towards centre wing. Roos is up, fisting forward. It's taken by Turner. Turner to Pios. Pios, the chip pass down towards half forward. Worsfold going back with courage. Collision course with Wind. Coming through nicely and doing it well was Board. Got the hand pass. It was a Pert. Pert got it out wide. Taken by Brockhurst. Gets it across to Blakey. Blakey on centre wing. Gives it to Armstrong. And Turner goes looking for Conlon.
Conlon taking a while to pick up here. Blakey kept going. Played for the free kick. Armstrong went for the ball. That was his only vision. And goes long with the kick, but he hooked it for a behind. Matthew Armstrong, 1 goal, 1. So I think we've found reason to criticise field, goal and boundary umpires today.
Only in as much as they didn't agree with us.
Here's the kick in straight up the ground. That's easily 70 metres into the centre square. What a mighty kick that was. But Fitzroy bring it back. McGrath, lightning hand pass to Harris. Pops it high, well short of the distance. Stroopers down there. Oh, Lynch rather, and takes a good mark. Sticky fingers again.
As I mentioned before, he's a likely looking type. He does have wonderful pair of hands and wonderful touch for the football.
David Parkin upset there on the phone, and I think not because of this mark by Lynch, but because I think Lyon was on for the hand pass in the build-up and the ball didn't go.
So Alistair Lynch looking for his 3rd goal. And he's done it again.
You certainly know when Fitzroy kicked a goal, there's definitely silence around the ground. And again, as I said, he's a likely looking type, is Lynch. And I would suggest that this is a bit of a mismatch with McKenna being on Lynch. He certainly is standing him up a lot of inches. And with that wonderful jump in front, he's going to have trouble getting around him all day.
That's a good shot of the height difference from low down.
He's got Zanotti marking Conlon. That would seem a better matchup, wouldn't it? Perhaps Zanotti back on the taller Lynch and McKenna out manning up Conlon. Turner dragged off the ball meantime as play gets underway again. Gastiv only as far as Gale at close quarters to Harris. Fitzroy move it forward. Lynch again. Lost stride as he was coming to that ball and put himself off. Well played, Zanotti. Gets it across to Lockyer to Main Waring. Main Waring right half back. Not much down for him, so he kicks close to the boundary line. Rance, Kapler, smothered off the boot by Rance. Brockhurst gets it across to Clayton. Sweeping hand pass forward is taken by Harris to Kapler. Kapler killing them. Into the forward line with a kick, and once more Lynch has taken the mark, and really now he's got to move McKenna, and quickly. Lynch simply too tall, too good in the air, and really he's very casual going for those marks, Lynch, as though he doesn't fear any opposition at all.
What a great contest between Kapler and Mainwaring on the wing too. They really are playing wide of each other, but once again Lynch chance for his 4th goal.
Well, it's not there with that one. It's out of bounds on the full. Kapler 11 kicks, 2 hand passes, and so far in this term he's had 5 kicks.
Well, it's going to look like Lynch has kicked 3 straight. In fact, he's kicked 3 goals and 2 out of bounds. Lockyer, again, a mighty kick in. Ironmonger, good use of the body on Scott. Comes to Harris at the front. Kapler again. What a kick. Lynch takes the mark. Now, the umpire said it's gone through for a behind, so magnificent kick by Kapler and a great diving mark by Lynch. And for all of that, it's a behind to Kapler. Now, Lockyer has kicked in fantastically, and that's a beauty, a zoomer right on the 50-metre line. The mark to Mainwaring. Zigzag out of defence now, and McGrath comes across in front of Lamb to mark.
McGrath has the ball. Gets it to Armstrong. Pushed off the kick. Kapler, and why not? Kapler, long kick down towards full forward. Osborne could have almost got the free. It's all Fitzroy on the ground. A little slow to decide whose ball it was. Well played, Miles. Indecision by Lynch and Conlon cost him dearly. Miles comes away, kicks towards centre wing. Fitzroy surround the ball. Ironmonger couldn't control it. Pios battles after it. Well played. Gets it across to Anea. Measures his hand pass. It comes to Scott. Scott towards half forward. Worsfold with great courage in from the side. Worsfold in the true centre half forward position. Lewis offers a short lead, and it's on it. Lewis has taken the mark only 35 metres out from goal.
Just going back to the other end of the ground then, Dennis. That's where you'd like to see a 10-game player. Lynch and Conlon, really the 200-game player. Someone's got to dominate.
Well, Conlon's been taken off for his indiscretion or, well, lack of
Dominance.
Yeah, really wanting to know what to do.
Meantime, Lewis, has he got it? I think he may have. Yes, he has.
And after the ball had been in the Fitzroy foot down there in seemed to be a lot more time, the Eagles have been able to do it. And really, Worsfold's mark and Glendinning both committed at the ball. Worsfold, great mark, and fantastic skills to get it to Chris Lewis.
Points the difference. 6-8 the Eagles, 6 goals for Fitzroy. Ironmonger wins out of the middle. Lyon charges at the pack, but Clayton gets the ball away. Over McGrath, streaming at it is Osborne. Well socked by Lockyer, which has gone 50 metres up the ground and bounces into the arms of Lamb. Well, defence into attack, a bit of a fluke. Pert with Glendinning. Pert wins this one. Stevens gets the hand pass back to Harris. Running out of room, gets the hand pass to Stevens. Playing well. His kick up towards centre wing. Armstrong, the fight on the middle of the ground, nowhere near the play. And a few being let go here. Gee.
Fitzroy at number 3 against 2. Oh. Ryan's done well. He's behind on points initial. Gee whiz.
Play's going on over the other side of the ground. Eventually, the umpires call a halt to play. There'll be a few...
Yes, that all started with a very aggressive bump in the middle of the ground from line onto Anea, and they went on with it. And one of the problems now is they've just wasted a lot of energy. There's no fun lying on the ground for 48 seconds and pushing and shoving.
Was that all that happened? Just a push and a shove?
I think there were a couple of very big punches thrown in that before we got there.
I think a boundary umpire on this grandstand side had a pretty good view of all that.
Well, the crowd over there not too happy about it being a boundary throw-in. Ironmonger wins the tap down. Bit willing. Scoreboard close. A lot at stake for both teams. And I think we're in for a pretty entertaining Sunday afternoon.
Value of experience there. Turner knew there'd be a free kick in the first 5 seconds, and he burrowed in. That's actually a lot of guts. As the ball goes towards the outer side, Pert is up, fisting away. Mainwaring, Gale. Mainwaring does well. Looking for support. Ran out of space, and the ball will be thrown in. Ross Lyon. Ironmonger opposed to Scott. Ironmonger has done pretty well today. Turner in the thick of things, taken away by Harris though. Gets it across to support, and they bring it forward yet again. Clayton towards half forward, storming up the ground though. Lockyer takes the mark on his chest. Pios is breaking for him. That's the direction the kick takes. Coming down the ground is Worsfold. He committed to that pack brilliantly. Waterman, great spin out of trouble. Waited too long for the hand pass. Blakey did superbly. Picked up by Armstrong. A high kick down towards half forward. 3 on 2. The Lions have the numbers, but fisted away well by Miles. Here's Turner. Too long, Dean Turner. Dragged off the kick. He'll be first to arrive with Courage Matera.
Eagles leading by 4 points. And there's another bit of a blue on right down in the goal square. That's the direction the play is going towards at the moment. Goal umpire getting a good view of 2 on 2 down there, a long way off the ball.
Good thing it didn't happen down at the other end, otherwise players perhaps from other clubs could have been reported. Bit obscure, I know, but
write it down for me.
He's had a bit of trouble seeing that guy at the other end is what I'm saying. Now Matera's getting a free kick. Okay. So Matera, 50 metres out. Goes in short. Good kick. Glendinning on a lead.
Yes, actually it was Gary Pert then really. That was the space side for Ross Glendinning, and he really didn't cover that space side. There were other players in the other pocket. He really just should have covered that hole up there.
Ross Glendinning going for his first goal of the afternoon and puts the Eagles 10 points in front.
A crucial time now in the game after a lot of heated incidents, and now's the time all players must get back on the job again, and remember there is a game of football to be played, and forget individual little sorties around the ground. So a very, very important goal by Ross Glendinning.
David Parkin has taken the youngster Terry Board off the ground. Strooper back on.
10 points the margin. The West Coast Eagles lead. Eventful second term this one. Scott and Ironmonger will do the ruck work. So work down towards half-time. Wide of the pack, an opportunity for Blakey. Head down over the ball. The Eagles responding best so far to what we've seen in the off-the-ball activities in this quarter. Pert trying to crash his way through. A superb tackle by Matera is rewarded with a free kick. Great stuff by the little man, standing his ground. Short passes on intended for Glendinning. Knocked away down there by Strooper. They dive after it. At the base of all of that, it's going to be a Fitzroy free, and it will be taken by, in defence, Clayton. Clayton comes across towards half-back, and the mark is taken by Wind. Lyon, deft little pirouette, goes towards centre-half forward with a high kick.
McGrath in the middle of the pack. Good mark. Open forward line. Wide for Osborne. On his hammer is Lockyer. Punch went up in the air, didn't clear the area though. Here's Armstrong. Lockyer still with him. Oh, Lockyer played it brilliant and sees the ball out. Standing ovation from the Eagles supporters. Well, he looked to be 20-1 against there. McGrath contesting with Scott. Fitzroy have the numbers. Hooked up by Wind. Lynch, not this time. Lockyer again, but he thumped it straight back into the pack. And the umpire will ball it up. This is 20 metres from goal.
Actually, with both McGrath and Lynch, a couple of youngsters coming on, when that forward line looks a bit more dangerous for Fitzroy now as the ball goes up into that area.
Here's the bounce. One down by Lynch. Carafa pushed off the ball. Coming down to meet Mainwaring was McGrath. The ball's out of bounds. It will be thrown in. So working down towards time on now. 7-8 the Eagles, 6-4 Fitzroy on what is a glorious day Hardly a cloud in the sky. McGrath doing the ruck work. Wide of the pack, an opportunity for Gale. Pulls it back towards full forward, but the mark is taken in front by Anea. Now he's away across the face of the ground, and the mark is taken by Waterman, a natural left footer. Some indecision from Waterman. He's harassed there by Blakey. They battle close to the boundary line, and the ball eventually goes out of bounds. I think Chris Waterman would like his time over again there.
Yes, a couple of times he's done that, Dennis. It's just that bit of inexperience in just realising that sometimes you just have to kick the ball.
He's going to be a good player, Waterman, though. He's a promising youngster in this Eagles group. Worsfold, who has arrived as a player, dragged off the hand pass. That was a good tackle by Clayton. The ball spills across the boundary line. Clayton's been a willing worker. There's Conlon looking on. Armstrong, close to the action too, where that ball went out of bounds also, has done very well. The Fitzroy. They're fighting doggedly. Ironmonger, superbly done. Gets it down. Clayton centres the ball with a kick. Gale from behind tries to knock it on. Awkward bounce for Osborne. Picked up by McKenna. Shrugs the tackle. Goes over the top to Mainwaring by hand. Too much pace there for McGrath. He sends it out wide. Barrich leads in the race. Kapler closing on him. Barrich right on the boundary line. Gets it down towards the 50-metre line. Pert. That was a very clever mark.
Worth coming a long way to see the contest between Pert and Glendinning, and Malcolm, we have come a long way to see it. Out towards centre wing. Ironmonger in front. Spoiled by Scott, who's doing well in the ruck. And hand pass back into a congested pack. The umpire will sort that out with the ball up. 50-40. The Eagles leading by 10 points. They've had 15 scoring shots to 10, but have wasted a few of their opportunities. Ball up, arm far Paul Saville. Mainwaring at the base of the pack, or well done Wind. Oh, well taken by Matera. He's done some sensational things this quarter. Punched by Pert from behind Glendinning. A few bruises being handed out. There's Turner going down. Matera again. The hand pass was blind. Found a teammate. Matera gets the free kick inside 50.
It's always a debatable free kick that. The player was going to ground anyhow and just sort of helped on his way.
Kick looking for Lewis, who nearly took the mark. Not quite paid. Picked up by Wind. And a good smother off the boot by Lamb. And Fitzroy a chance to steady out of defence. Stevens up to centre wing. The mark to Gale. And a well-measured pass. Carafa goes to ground. A near good tackle by Blakey, and the ball out of play.
Good game of football, this one, no question. A little disappointing the crowd couldn't be bigger. It's lacking a little atmosphere. McGrath goes up in front, wins it down, and Anea with courage. He's got plenty of that, dives on top of it. Mainwaring working it towards the boundary line, does well to sidestep Gale, gets his kick in. Brockhurst is up, got fingertips to it. The big fellow, John Ironmonger, lumbers up to it. Roos kept the ball in play, well done. Beautiful hand pass to Clayton. Clayton goes over the top to Wind. Wind is on centre wing, goes down towards half forward. Great kick. Lyon drifting in between the lines, has taken the mark. Osborne going back very quickly towards the goal square. Lyon hangs on. Now he goes in short. Spears the ball into Armstrong. Clayton running into open space. It's on to Clayton. Well, they gained about 20 metres, but a vital 20 metres because Clayton now is within range. He's been impressive today.
He's had a big second quarter.
Clayton will kick from just inside 50. Good-looking kick. That is a beautiful effort from there. Spears the middle. Goal to Fitzroy.
There's terrific build-up then from Fitzroy, and you just wonder sometimes. I thought that Armstrong was probably the longest kick in the side, one of the longer kicks in Fitzroy, and could have had the shot, but nevertheless it ended up with Clayton, and as you said, Dennis, split the middle. Excellent play from Fitzroy.
Margin back to 4 points as we get close to half-time here at Subiaco Oval. Good mark to Strooper in defence. Centre half back. Goes out towards the wing. Blakey or Roos. And Roos the best bet. Measures off the kick to Carafa. Oh, good mark in front of Zanotti. Beauty. Just forward of the wing. Lynch underneath the ball. He's got O'Connell as an opponent now. Comes to Anea. Oh, his kick goes 100 metres, 50 up, 50 down. Lamb. Armstrong winning a lot of kicks, and the hard ones around the packs as well. Osborne, a good climb, big mark.
Yes, unfortunately, Lockyer was in the position of just being that yard or two behind and let McKenna go for the ball rather than go for it himself. And unfortunately, if you're a defender, you must go with a forward.
Osborne going for his third goal to put the Lions in front. He hooked that and got under it a bit. A disappointing result from there.
The Eagles lead by 3 points. Jeff Miles looking for options. Decides to go towards the outer side and finds Lamb. Zanotti is free down the ground. He'll go to Zanotti. It's a high kick, though. He's made it awkward, and the good mark is taken by Armstrong. What a good player he is. Armstrong, forward of centre wing, back towards half-forward. They're caught on the quick rebound. Well, almost. Miles did brilliantly to knock it away from McGrath. Worsfold comes away, finds Pios in centre field. This is Barrage. Barrage goes with his left foot, high towards half-forward. Glendinning, Pert, Matera. Fine second quarter by Wally Matera. Goes long down towards full forward. Lewis is in front, knocked away by Stevens. Brockhurst gets back. Brockhurst, he hooks it around the boundary line. Lewis leads in the race, then slips over, slaps it back towards the pocket. Brockhurst off the ground. And Fitzroy has been brave down there, and as a result, they'll bring it away. Blakey got it across to Clayton. Clayton kicks it towards the grandstand wing. A lot of courage shown by Worsfold. It was out of bounds as Gale tried to give it across towards Harris.
Just under 2 minutes left in the first half, and a 3-point lead to the West Coast Eagles. Mashenko still on the bench, and Scott doing all the ruck work now. Wins this down to Zanotti. High kick. Roos in front. Oh, good catch. Beautiful hands, Paul Roos. And he's got Kapler out on the opposite wing. If he can break here, it's wide open for Fitzroy. Pios comes back at him, but he'll never catch him from behind. Long raking kick to the goal square. Osborne. Couldn't quite mark. At the front, McKenna. Anir going backwards. Off to Miles. It was slow motion, but they did it effectively. Waterman
between half-back and centre. Centres the ball into a nest of Eagles players. 3-on-1. Roos fell over. After a couple of the Eagles waiting behind Lamb was pushed in the back surely, and he'll get the free kick. Can they get a late goal? Lamb wanted to play on. Roos claimed him from behind. Scott's in trouble now. Hurried kick down towards the forward area. Pert does well. Great composure there by Pert. Comes away and uses the ball well too. Gale, he was stumbling before the ball arrived. Rance had more time. Just hurries it back towards the forward pocket. But the mark is taken by Pert. So the clock is running down on this first half. 28 seconds and counting down. Pert to centre wing. Ironmonger. Good mark by the big fellow. Wanted to play on. Got it quickly to Gale. Blakey to Cameron. To Wind. Good football by Fitzroy. Wind goes down towards the 50-metre line. Carafa has it. No, he dropped it. Osborne behind. Only seconds remaining. O'Connell. Did he take the mark? Yes, he did. There's the siren for half-time. 7-8 to 7-5. 3 points the Eagles' way. So, a very entertaining first half of football here at the Subiaco Oval, and I think both coaches would sense they've got a good opportunity to win this game. Of course, a win today for the Eagles carries them back into the top 5, and a win for Fitzroy puts them only a game outside the 5.
That was a dead-even quarter. They led by 3 points at quarter time and still lead by 3 points at half-time, the Eagles. Half-time here at Subiaco Oval. The home team, the Eagles, 7-8, leading Fitzroy 7 goals.
Subiaco Oval, the quarter-by-quarter scores, as you can see, it's been tight throughout. 3 points at quarter time, 3 points at half-time. Just checking the goal scorers. Firstly for the Eagles, singles all to Matera, Mainwaring, Glendinning, Miles, Turner, Rance and Lewis. And for the Lions, 3 to Lynch, 2 to Osborne, and Armstrong has the other goal. So half-time at Subiaco Oval, the Eagles 7-8-50 lead the Lions 7-5-47. It's round 13 of the VFL competition. It's been lucky so far in terms of the Eagles, or more particularly Jeff Miles, a goal that wasn't a goal, but that's history. And speaking of history, the history of the VFL, Chapter 13.
In the early 1960s, with television elevating league footballers to larger-than-life characters, many cult heroes were spawned and worshipped. And some of the big names would do anything for publicity. Take Collingwood skipper Murray Wiedemann. He decided to take up wrestling, much to the delight of Magpie supporters as well as his opposition followers, who were happy to see the weed on his back for a change. Another of the VFL's biggest draw cards was 17-year-old St Kilda recruit Carl Ditterich. The fiercely competitive Brighton High School student captured the imagination of the footballing public, although some believed he was excessively exuberant on the field.
Carl, lately you've been sort of branded as a bad man. What do you feel about this label? Do you think this label fits?
Oh, I don't know. It's just that it's my view or my aim to play football. That's the only way I can play football. I can't adopt it any other way. I've been playing like that ever since I can remember.
Another player who wasn't short on aggression was Hawthorn full forward John Peck, who became the most wanted man in Adelaide after he flattened South Australian defender Brian Sawley in the interstate game in 1963. But one man who didn't have a habit of upsetting the umpires was South Melbourne's Bob Skilton, who won his second Brownlow in '63 by 3 votes from Geelong's Polly Farmer and St Kilda's Darryl Baldock. In the grand final of that year, Geelong, coached by former champion Bob Davis, won the club's first flag since 1952 by cruising to an easy victory over Hawthorn. In 1964, an injured Ron Barassi became coach for a day, while Norm Smith was in Adelaide coaching the Victorian team. And Barassi showed he was no slouch from the sidelines by orchestrating the Demons' 67-point victory over Fitzroy. Another coach in the news during the 1964 season was Essendon's John Coleman, who decided his players needed a bit of help during a dust-up during the first semi-final against Geelong. But his intervention didn't help, as the Cats moved into the preliminary final against Collingwood. Geelong was beaten by 4 points, and the Magpies lined up against their great rivals of the 50s, Melbourne, in the grand final. Barassi, who'd missed the entire 1963 final series because of a 4-week suspension, was hell-bent on making his last match with the Demons a memorable one. And what a match it was. With only minutes remaining in the game, Collingwood's gargantuan Ray Gabberling was responsible for one of the most exciting dashes in VFL history. As he charged his way downfield, bouncing the ball wildly, the Collingwood fans went wild. The goal gave Collingwood a 3-point lead, and victory looked imminent. But the Demons refused to give in, and a goal by back pocket Neil Crompton, his first for the season, was the sealer. It was a fitting result for Barassi because he shocked the football world by announcing he was to leave the club he'd served for more than a decade to coach Carlton.
Melbourne have always been great in their thinking, both on and off the field, and they've done things other clubs wouldn't do. They've done big things. Again, on and off the field, and this would be another example of it. I feel that I've given a long service, and I feel fairly good service.
Today's game is a part of the Elders IXL 1988 VFL Premiership season.
I think it's fair to say fight's the order of the day. Half-time at Subiaco Oval, and the Eagles lead by 3 points. It's 7-8 to 7-5. Just a reminder, too, this week the Australian Television Network presents another top week of sporting action. Next Friday night at 7:30 live, it's the Sydney Swans versus Richmond. And on Saturday night replay, see the big one, Carlton versus Collingwood. Next Sunday at 2 o'clock, the Brisbane Bears take on St Kilda. And the action continues on Tuesday the 5th with a big State of Origin clash, WA against Victoria at Subiaco Oval. And a reminder, this year's biggest television event tonight at 8:30, see part 1 of the Shirley starring Brian Brown and Ernie Hazelhurst, all on the Australian Television Network. Back at Subiaco Oval then, and it's time to talk about something I've been looking forward to introducing. There could have been champions, and this is a really catchy little number. As they'd say in the old days in Jukebox Jury, the kids could dance to this one from their album On the Fence. Here's a Shenko.
Ishinko, faster than a Burke Street tram, slower than a baby's pram. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Ishinko, 16 stone if he's an ounce. When they hit him, they just bounce. Oh, 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 oh. Ishinko, when he dives into a pack, everybody else stands back. Oh, 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 oh. Ishinko, faster than a polar bear, just like lightning through the air, just pulling your leg. Hey! Ishinko, built like a Russian tank, runs like a halfback flank. Oh, oh.
To the players, look, pick up the ball. I don't really care if you get caught holding the ball. Just give these Eagle players some confidence. See Chris Lewis there in action. He came on and kicked a nice goal in that second quarter. And that great contest, Drew, between Gary Pert and Ross Glendenning's been fantastic.
Wally Matera's had an excellent game for the Eagles.
And here's the goal that wasn't a goal. It's Jeff Miles, beautiful, just on the inside of the goal post. But not a problem, really, one goal. It's been, he's a youngster that I've liked, is Alistair Lynch. He's got his hands to a lot of balls and perhaps could have held on to a few more, but he's kicked 3 valuable goals. Also, McGrath at centre-half forward's been more than handy. So Fitzroy, I still think, can just get away with this game.
I'm interested that both coaches have shown a liking to block things up. I mean, we saw John Todd's bunching at centre-half back for the kick-ins last week in Sydney. And David Parkinson can certainly play a game like that. But today it's been pretty open, really.
Yes, it has been. And he's a very, very good player, is Worsfold. His attack on the ball is second to none in the league. And he really did set that up, that Chris Lewis goal up in that second quarter. He really has come on as a very good player.
Now we can take a look at the match statistics, and not much in the kicks, but we saw Fitzroy with a big lead in the hand passes at quarter time. It's continued to half time. Free kicks, well, the Eagles in front of the home crowd are in front there, 14-8. The hit outs, and it's interesting that Phil Scott has done most of the rucking with Ishinko sitting on the bench.
Actually, he's played very well, Scott, I think. He really does jump high, and he's just got that bit of problem with Ishinko and Scott as well, but Scott's playing very well indeed.
Good on you. Thanks, Malcolm. We'll be back with more at Subiaco Oval after this break.
For you, West Coast Eagles against Fitzroy. Well, that breeze has backed around considerably. It's almost coming across the ground now. That's how it started, going down towards the right full forward pocket at the western end. Currently, it's warmed up a little bit. It's 18 degrees, sunny and firm. It really is a glorious day for football. Tony Bahaja has been monitoring what's been going on at halftime. Here's his report, Tony.
Thanks, Dennis. With me, the Eagle, they feel fairly confident, and John Todd believes that this is the quarter that will decide the winner of the game, while David Parkin, happy with their forward line, wants them to keep the ball open and to keep the forward line open for the rest of the game. Thank you, Dennis.
Finally, he's found a friend. An Eagle with an adopted budgie. Waiting for the start of the second half then. 7-8 to 7-5. The Eagles lead it. John Ironmonger has played pretty well in the first half. His umpire Saville. Phil Scott up against Ironmonger. Phil Scott up against Ironmonger. The start of the second half at Subiaco Oval. Minus a siren. It's one down by Ironmonger. Pios has got it. Claimed immediately by Clayton, and the ball will be bounced down once again. Ironmonger and Scott once more. This time it's Scott who wins it down. Rance blanketed by Blakey, and once more the umpire will be called upon. And quickly. On that occasion was umpire Cameron. He was in the middle of quite a stoush there in the second term. Lost in a sea of places, or rather players. Both. Pios trying to force it forward, diving on top of it, Ironmonger, and once more.
Gee, can we start this again?
A nondescript start to the third term.
What's the betting on a free kick on this one? Fourth ball up, I think it is, at the start of the third quarter. Yes, there's a kick out of there by Armstrong. And very quickly a free kick, pushing the back to Wind inside the centre square against Lamb. Jim Wind gets a lead by Lynch. Wide towards the pocket, comes to the back. Chance here for Fitzroy. Lyon, good tackle. Waterman. Ruse holding the ball. Oh, it hasn't been one of Paul Ruse's greatest days. And Waterman will take the free kick from the back pocket. Straight up the centre, could be a bit of danger here. Awkward half volley for Rance. Actually, McKenna took it away from his teammate, but did it all right eventually. And the hand pass to Barrage. The Eagles breaking. Glendinning and Pert. Held by one arm, Ross Glendinning, no whistle. Pert tries to soccer, picked up by Lewis. Little short passes, beautiful to Pios. He's marked right in front, 40 metres out.
Once again, Paul Ruse running down the ground and left Murray Rance available. There's a short passes on here. And pretty ordinary players being pulled back.
Why would the umpire make him come back?
Well, if he calls time on in setting a place for the mark, he will blow whistle off again. As we look at it in replay. So he must go back and have the kick again.
Well, Paul Pios is right in front, 40 metres out. When the option came, I suppose he had to go for the short pass, but really he should make the distance and kick it straight from here. And he's done both. Oh, Ironmonger just touched it. Tallest man on the ground, just as well he was there.
A few players in the league could have touched that one. A couple spring to mind. Justin Madden, perhaps. John Ironmonger. Just in the nick of time. As the kick in. It evades the man down there, Carafa, who's claiming he did touch it, but the umpire having none of it. Carafa may have hurt himself lunging for that ball. Worsfold has it. High kick. Back towards full forward. Glendinning. Pert has the run on him. Lewison from the side almost to mark. Brockhurst at close quarters to Harris. Over the top it comes to Armstrong. It is unnatural kicking foot. Not a very good kick at all out towards half back. Taken by Turner. Back towards the forward pocket. Stevens, who started the game very well, gets in the road and takes the mark.
No significant changes down the middle of the ground, but Barrage is now picking up Kaplan. I think that might have happened just before half-time to stop his dominance.
Brett Stevens, deep in his own defensive area, sends play around the outer side. Pack into the air, fisted forward by the Eagles, knocked away by Strooper. Opportunity for a Nia. Blakey was grabbed around the leg, and he'll take the free kick on the outer side. Blakey, who's been a good player for them, they've done well across the centre. Blakey wants to play on now. Goes long towards half forward. McGrath's outnumbered down there. Goes up almost the mark. Crashing into the pack was Wind. Going the other way, this is Barrage. Runs up through the middle, does Barrage. Penetrating kick. Pert out in front of Glendinning has taken the defensive mark.
A stop-start opening to the third quarter. Just 4 points the difference. The Eagles have the lead. Towards the outer wing. An excellent mark. Dragged down in front by Waterman. His left footer is a beauty to Glendinning. Got the mark right on the edge of the centre square. Too far out. Wide for Lewis or Turner. Turner takes the mark.
Precision kicking then by Ross Glendinning. And excellent play too by Waterman to set it up initially. Did well then, Dean Turner, to stand his ground, and with the two behind him coming down hard upon him.
Got the first goal of the game, which was from the opposite side of the ground, wide out near the boundary line. It should be pretty easy for Dean Turner. Every time you say that. Oh, it did come back and go through for a goal.
Second goal to Dean Turner, and the school then of both Waterman and Ross Glendinning came to the fore. As we watch again in replay, pretty good contest all around that from four players, and ending up with Dean Turner just the ball falling over the goal line.
The Eagles have skipped away to lead by 10 points. Early days in this third term. Fitzroy needing the next goal. Armstrong couldn't control it. Turner has it go between his legs. Second attempt does well. Worsfold long towards half forward. Glendinning. What a great mark by Glendinning. Well, this duel has been enthralling today. Glendinning almost could have got a free kick there. Pert was hanging over him. He managed to take the mark.
Fantastic body work.
So, an opportunity for close to the biggest break in the game, apart from the opening 10 minutes or so. Could be out to 16 points now for the Eagles. Glendinning The man you'd like with the ball if you were an Eagles supporter. Kicking at his second, and he gets it.
It's terrific stuff when you see a full forward and a full back in a classic contest, and that's what it's been thus far in the game, and hopefully it continues for the rest of the game. And there hasn't been a lot of moves. The sides have been very even all day, and it's going to be interesting now to see what David Parkin does with this 16-point break. Certainly not a time for panic, as we watch that in replay with that fantastic bodywork of Ross Glendinning. So David Parkin in the next 5 minutes, unless Fitzroy can return some sort of score, needs an action.
Ironmonger takes clean possession. Threads out the hand pass. Armstrong kept it going forward but lost control. And this will be a ball up. The Eagles 9-9. Fitzroy 7 goals 5. Big pack around this. Scott beats Ironmonger. Gets it to a near well. Eagles breaking out of these congested packs. Pios has kicked to centre half forward. Gale in the back of his opponent. No whistle though. And umpire Cameron's going to have to ball it up. And the umpires have been worked overtime in this quarter, bringing the ball back into play.
Bounce down on the 50-metre attacking line for the Eagles. Bright sunny conditions. Scott opposed to Ironmonger. Scott very high, wins it down. Pert almost held without it. Worsfold, great courage going against the trend of play. Had the ball held to him. So another bounce. Had about, actually say, 7 or 8 of these in the opening 6 minutes of the term. Ironmonger again. This time he wins it down. Rance going nowhere. Lewis with the run of the ball. Kapler, the star in the first half. Sockers off the ground out wide. Barrage leads in the race. Gathers the ball at right half forward. Now he's in deep trouble, Barrage. Does well. Ran too far, said the umpire. Well, I think everybody was watching the contest more for the problems Barrage was running into, but perhaps not watching how far he'd gone as Roos takes the kick. And that was a very strong mark by McGrath. Very hard to take.
McKenna's had a bad day. It doesn't matter who he goes on to, they take marks.
They're all taller too. There's McGrath on centre wing. High kick towards half forward. In from the side, Scott. Up he goes. Couldn't take the mark. Trying to find the ball on the ground. Wind. Osborne off the ground. Lockyer only as far as Harris. Back to Lockyer. Clever hand pass. Well played. McKenna comes away. Measures the hand pass. Pios runs up towards the middle. Long kick towards half forward. Stevens in front of Lewis. Falls behind them. Pert does well. Stevens lays it off. Back to Pert. Pert along the grandstand wing. That ball was too tall for McKenna. Wind has it. Goes down towards the pocket. Almost the mark in front to Lynch. He goes after it on the ground. Going against the tide was Wind. Well played by O'Connell. It's knocked out of there by Scott. Off the ground by Lamb. In front Barrett. He did very well. Down he goes. Met solidly by Lyon. Off the ground by Lamb. Centre wing main Waring. Well trapped by Ironmonger. Good work by the big fella. To McGrath to Lyon. Lyon gets it across to Carafa. Carafa up through the middle. Goes towards half forward. Osborne's in front. Can't control it. Applies a strong tackle on Lockyer. The only thing was Lockyer didn't have the ball.
Andrew Lockyer across the half-back line. Awkward bouncing ball for a near, but he's well in the clear. Pios gets free. And his kick up over the wing. Rance is there. Roos works his way to the front. Oh, excellent mark, Paul Roos. And Fitzroy desperately looking for something now. 16 points the lead to the Eagles. And we can't find any movement up forward, and he's taken a week to get rid of it. Goes very long in the direction of Lyon. Zanotti with him. Ball hasn't gone out yet. More courage by Anir. And he wins a free kick for getting in there and winning a very hard ball.
Leads by example, John Anir, as captain of the side. High centering kick. Gale, what a mark. No, didn't grab it at the second attempt. Off the ground, it spills across to Barrage. Barrage out wide, and the mark should be taken out there by Waterman. Well, Gale did all the hard work. This is Waterman on the outer side. Long kick down towards half forward. Pert is up, almost the mark to him. Through the legs of Main Waring. Brilliant pickup by Pert. Sweeping hand pass to accommodate Wind. This is Armstrong. Could have run. Elects to kick towards half forward. McGrath, almost the nudge on McKenna. Took him under the ball. McGrath's taken this mark. Just outside 50 to Strooper, moving into open space, and Strooper We kicked quite a few goals in one night series match, I recall, as this ball probably 40 metres out.
Yes, and from memory, Dennis, he was a very, very good kick for goal.
Let's see what he can do from here then. Strooper. Well judged. Starts it right. It drifts back nicely. That's a goal.
David Strooper's first for the afternoon. Spent some time on the bench. Margin back to 10 points.
In fact, Strooper started off as half-back flank and is now playing up forward. And Richard Osborne moved out to half-forward flank.
There's another mark in there to McGrath. Another one on McKenna.
He's going to love you, McKenna.
Back with umpire Cameron in the middle. Scott continuing to do well. The umpire will have to ball it up again. 63 to 53. Eagles leading 9-9 to 8 goals 5. And you can almost hear a pin drop here at Subiaco Oval. A smallish crowd in the mid-teens, somewhere around that. Scott again. He's really got some spring in those heels. Here's a chance for Kapler. He taps it out to Gale. Over the top, past Kapler it goes. And overrun by Armstrong, leaving Lamb a clear path. To centre half forward. Screws gets back there but can't mark. Glendinning outside 50 now. The lead by Barrett. 2 Eagles out here, and Adrian Barrett can kick the goal from 40. But he hooked it badly and brings up a behind.
There's one fumble then from Armstrong, and the game changed dramatically. Lost 100 metres.
Kapler was through, wasn't he, for the next one, the hand pass. This is Wynn. Still, the Eagles not punishing Fitzroy. This is Blakey on the outer side, down towards half forward. Lockyer going back, Rhett at first, and takes the mark on the outer side. Andrew Lockyer, a resolute defender. Long kick. Matera behind Ironmonger, the 2 number 1s. This is Rance. Got the crumbs. Wayward looking kick. In fact, the football in this third term has been shocking so far, and that really gives evidence of it. Lamb in all sorts of trouble picking up the ball, but the finish is good as he finds Lewis on a lead. Lewis, a centering kick. Worsfold stood his ground. Courageous mark. Very, very good. He is a young rising star in this competition, no question. He goes short, intended for Glendinning, and Glendinning takes the mark despite the efforts of Pert.
Just wasn't that fantastic, Dennis, that he's taken that courageous mark, then had the poise to get up and still deliver the ball to the leading Glendinning.
Yeah. Glendinning should get the goal from here. Kicks from 40 out. Marvellous kicking style. That's 3 to Ross Glendinning. The Eagles stretch their lead. 10-10-70 to 8-5-53. So it's out to 17 points, and I'd venture to say the biggest lead we've had is about 22 in the early going.
Yes, when the Eagles had the first 3 goals on the board and Fitzroy had a behind. David Parkin went up to Sydney last week to watch the Eagles play, so he could do his homework for today. Armstrong across the line, blind hand pass, picked up by Armstrong. Long to inside half forward. Lynch crashes through the pack. Osborne, kick well smothered. Lockyer's been an excellent defender. Taken away by Zanotti. Out near centre wing. Main wearing there for the Eagles, outnumbered 2 to 1 as he arrives at the ball with 2 opponents and cops a hard knock. Ball goes out of play. Pretty hard way to earn a boundary throw-in. Ironmonger this time in front and wins to Kapler. Matera takes it away. Dodges McGrath, gets rid of the kick. Rance and Roos. 2 former All-Australians. Rance the mark.
That's a very good mark too. Pios from the hand pass out wide. Great work by Glendinning off the ball. The mark is taken by Lewis. He'll go to the pocket. Little 1-2 with Glendinning. He'll run in. Glendinning 20 metres out. Slots the goal. Well, the captain's goal in all respects. He set it up for Lewis off the ball. Great use of the body. Lewis took the mark.
as it is there. All he did was take the running of Stevens. Fantastic play then by Glendinning and Chris Lewis with those great skills that he's got. Over to Glendinning and his 4th goal.
.23 points, the biggest margin for the day. Glendinning 4 goals for the match, 3 in this quarter. Comes to Barrage. Spinning ball and Lamb centre wing to Mainwaring, and the Eagles starting to get right on top at the moment. Across to Pios. They're there in numbers. Scott, Lewis. Oh, what a mark by Chris Lewis.
Integral player in that was Scott, the ruckman, the big fellow who's done a terrific job in ruck and became the running player. And then to finish it off to Lewis was really good stuff. Gee, they can't get the ball out the centre, Fitzroy. Could have changed their players in the centre, I think, from really going to have to work in that centre area.
Lewis from about 35, 40 metres. Has missed it. 1 goal, 2. Disappointing for him. Glendinning's been the man, though. And to kick 4 goals, 1 on Gary Pert has been a top performance.
Gary Pert in short. Gale. Got an extra number on the outer side. Gale draws a man, goes over the top to Wind. Wind, a long kick towards centre wing. Kapler goes back with courage. Bearing down on him was Lockyer. And Lockyer pumps it out of bounds. Will have a throw in. So starting to slip away now. Lyon is off the ground. Board is on, and Conlon is waiting to come on for Fitzroy. One would have thought Lyon could have been the man to go into the centre square as Mainwaring centres the ball. Rockhurst, a clever mark. 11-11 to 8-5. They work it forward yet again, Fitzroy, towards their half-forward line, and Miles comes over the top and takes a strong defensive mark for the Eagles to McKenna, who squares the ball almost and finds Waterman right on the boundary line. Goes towards half-forward with the kick. Forward of half-forward. Turner takes the mark on his chest. Dean Turner plays on quickly. Puts it across to support. This is Lockyer a long way down the ground. Andrew Lockyer, a centering kick. Glendinning surrounded. And Roos goes in and takes the timely one.
And Fitzroy badly need to lift. They trail 77 to 53. Contested mark between 2 teammates and the mark to Keane. Up towards the centre of the ground. Easy punch away by Miles. It goes to Armstrong. Now he's got Kapler, who can run and kick a mile. Chance on the forward line. Lynch pushed out his opponent, said umpire Cameron, and the free kick to O'Connell. O'Connell's kick to half-back flank. Kapler climbs, but he was taken out of that by Barrage, allowing Scott, who's been an excellent player for the Eagles, to take the mark.
Gets it across to Barrage. Miles eager to shepherd. Kicking towards the centre square. Roos couldn't hang on to it. Mainwaring an opportunity now. Quickly across to Worsfold. Worsfold a long kick into the forward line. Lewis and Stevens battling down there. It bounces above the pair of them. Lewis does brilliantly, but the finish wasn't there. A real test of strength, that one, as they waited for it to come down. (11-12 to 8-5). Fitzroy desperate for the next goal.
Somebody yelled out, change the goal, umpire. Don't tell me they wanted another goal.
That's 50 metres, and that's pretty silly.
Armstrong gets the 50. Now, he can't play on. He's going to wait for the umpire to go down and set the mark.
Decent 50.
Umpire Saville does that. Armstrong plays on quickly. Intended for Osborne or Strooper. Osborne behind, gathers the ball in the pocket, pulls it back towards the kickoff line. 2-on-1 down there. O'Connell, haven't seen much of him today, but he comes away with dash. Long hand pass, worth a kick. It's taken by Mainwaring. Runners on the outer side everywhere for the Eagles. Worsfold's got it. Inside him and Nia. Waterman's on for the short one. Waterman's got it now and can kick a goal. He runs in inside 50, goes over the top, gets it to Turner. Turner slips as he kicks. Bit unfortunate there. Sneaks it through for a behind. They should have done better because they had 6-on-3 down the outer side.
Actually, hasn't the game opened up since those first 6 or 7 minutes of this quarter? It's really become one end of the ground or the other.
Burt kicks in. Harris at centre half back. Gets support from Stevens. And his kick towards half forward. Zanotti interfered with there by Board. He's run over the boundary line by Lockyer. Actually, Osborne cleaned up one of the Eagles support crew there, just behind the boundary line. Mickey Conlon waiting to come on the ground. He's been ready for about 5 minutes. Hasn't got the nod yet.
I think somebody's played a cruel practical joke on it.
From the throw-in. Wind. Very high kick. All the Eagles. Osborne dashing back there to contest, but too late. Lockyer takes the chest mark. 11-13 the Eagles. 8 goals, 5 Fitzroy. And the match is really slipping out of Fitzroy's grasp in this third quarter. 79-53. Anir uncontested down the middle. Up to centre half forward. Glendinning. Burt gets to the front. Roos backs him up. Across the half back line. And that's good setup.
Gale's taken the mark. Brilliantly played by Pert. Back it comes to Roos. Roos through the middle. Wind with courage. Lunging at that one. Mainwaring was bearing down on him. Mainwaring goes back and wins it brilliantly. Gets a free kick. Armstrong's a little annoyed out there, but Mainwaring outnumbered did very well. Mainwaring, half-back, goes in short. It was intended, I think, for Matera. Pios drops the simplest of marks. Now they've got a problem as a result of that. Armstrong's over the ball, shovels it out, only as far as Anir. He gives it to Matera. Matera on centre wing. Strange game of footy this now. He goes in short and finds Rance. Matera towards the pocket. Glendinning. And Glendinning really is the story of this quarter. He's got 4 to the moment, Ross Glendinning. And he will go close from here simply because he's such a marvellous kick. Gastiff is back on the ground. Lamb is off. Ross Glendinning. Good effort. Misses to the near side. Now Mickey Conlon's in danger of being lapped. Ross Lyons come up to the interchange gate as well.
Actually, Fitzroy just having a lot of trouble at centre half forward at the moment. What's happening, the young players that are there, they're swapping a few around, really just won't stand there at centre half forward and make the ball kick there.
It was intended for Stroop with a short pass in. Eventually Gale tidies up.
And Gale a long kick to half forward. Osborne, punch away from behind, but was illegal. And the free kick to Richard Osborne. Gets a lead from Lynch. Gets around the man on the mark with the hand pass. Armstrong from 50. Good long kick, but offline. And it's been a while between drinks for Fitzroy. Finally, Mickey Conlon gets on the ground. They wanted a goal there rather than the behind. And Clayton came off for Lyon. And Harris is off for Conlon. Leon Harris, who was in the state team for Victoria in the Bicentennial Carnival in Adelaide earlier in the year, dropped a bit of form. Dropped from the state squad, announced last week. Here's Mainwaring. Back to McKenna. Mainwaring again, close to the boundary line. O'Connell having a bit of a run up the ground, bit of freedom for him. Oh, he's cornered by McGrath on the mark. Umpire saying McGrath come back a metre or two. O'Connell, a very high kick to the wing. Rance is there underneath it. Roos outmarks him.
Roos has the ball at offensive side of centre wing. Now, we've said before, if the Eagles win today, they go back inside the 5, but a lot of confidence down in this side still. Wynn battles over the ball, and the umpire will ball it up. Fitzroy not done with yet, but they need the next goal. The Eagles, I don't think it's unfair to say that, Mel, they're playing without much confidence at all.
No, the scoreboard doesn't say that, but yes, there are the odd occasions where they are still fumbling and not quite sure of themselves.
Might get better as this game wears on. Ward leads in the race to Kapler. Kapler goes out wide, and the ball will spill across the boundary line to be thrown in. 80 plays 54.
Barrage has done a real good job on Kapler this quarter, and he really has kept him out of the game.
Yes, and that's a key because Kapler was a dominant player in the first half. McGrath wide of the pack. Conlon went nowhere. Osborne with dash. Should go in and kick a goal, Osborne, and does from about 30 metres out. Well played. But it's getting that way for Fitzroy. It needs that individual dash or two because there's not much teaming up at the present time for the Lions.
No, the best thing that happened then was Michael Conlon attack at the ball around a pack, which a lot of the Fitzroy players have had trouble with today. Harris off the ground and now Line. They're going to need someone like that around the pack.
Richard Osman's third goal for the day. 3-1. 80-60, and Fitzroy, after the goal by Richard Osborne, still within touch, even though they've been really killed in this quarter. Lions back in the middle with Clayton off the ground. Matera. Great pass, and the Eagles have had men free down that outer side during this third quarter. Oh, Matera with a ballet dance gets clear. Glendinning and Pert. Got to be a free kick, Glendinning. And Gary Pert's been worried out of this contest. And Ross Glendinning is looking for his 4th goal for the quarter.
Watching this in replay, you'd have to say that was in the back.
I think so.
In fact, if he put a saddle on him, he could have put him at Flemington.
Ross Glendinning. Missed it. 4 goals, 3.
It said something, too, about the athletic ability of Gary Pert, though, didn't it? Despite all that happened, he was able to find the ball. I mean, that's just marvellous to be able to do that. The kick in comes from Pert, and the mark is taken by Carafa. 11-15 to 9-6. Carafa from half-back. Kicks high towards centre wing. McGrath's in front. Over the top came Barrett. It wasn't Mainwaring. Mainwaring was the leaper. They battle back after it. On top of it is Lockyer. The umpire calls for it. So a ball up on centre wing in what's been a lacklustre third term, but the Eagles have slipped away, so it could well be a game-determining third quarter, depending on what Fitzroy can muster in the run home. We're at a time on, well and truly. 1 down that time by Scott wide of the pack. Lyon to Brockhurst, who kicks towards the 50-metre line. Lynch is in front. Miles, a tremendous lead, fisting away. Waterman leads in the race. Closing in on him was Blakey. Waterman kicks towards the boundary line. Zanotti was a willing shepherder, as Parkin is on the phone. I don't think he'd think this game is lost as yet.
His interchanges this quarter have been really interesting. Lyon came off the ground for, what, 5 minutes? Conlon waited 5 minutes before he got back on.
I think that situation with Lyon was trying to make a point as Mainwaring takes the mark. The Eagles with numbers to the grandstand side now. This is Pios. Pios draws Kapler. This is Barrett on centre wing. Barrett comes down towards right half forward. Brockhurst lost the ball completely in flight. Did well to get back and fist it away from Gastev. Carafa's got his feet on the ball. This is Turner. Turner from Gastev. Wayward kick. Out of bounds on the full in the right full forward pocket. Brockhurst, who did I have down there?
No, you called Brockhurst with losing the flight of the ball in the air. Pert kicks in. Ironmonger's there. Big climb by Roos. Another big mark by Paul Roos. Under a minute left. And the Lions have the time to get another one, which would be vital before the break. Fumble there by Carafa. Trouble for Armstrong, but he gets the hand pass clear. Kapler a bit slow that time. And they've lost the football and they're losing seconds as we count down to 3/4 time. Applause for the Eagles who bottled it up on centre wing. 81 plays 60. And this was after a 3-point lead to the Eagles at halftime. So they've dominated this third quarter. Gastev well played. Worsfold. Matera been a great player all day. Scott as well. To Pios. Time for the Eagles to get one more. Lewis down there. Turner stumbling to the ground. And the siren beats them in their last thrust forward. 11-15, the Eagles leading Fitzroy 9-6 at 3.
It was 3 points at quarter time, 3 points at half time, and now it's down to 21 points. 11-15 to 9-6. Malcolm, can Fitzroy get that?
Well, they're still certainly close enough. Probably the Eagles could have sewn it up in that quarter had they kicked a bit straighter. Ross Glendinning was magnificent. Their players around the ball. Scott as ruckman and almost a run-on player was terrific and forced the ball forward for the entire quarter almost. On the other hand, Fitzroy still got its problems in and around the ball, and coach David Parkin has made some significant changes to those players on the ball, and they really have to really battle this quarter out of the centre of the ground.
The Eagles with more kicks, as you can see. Fitzroy with more hand passes. So possession pretty much even. And the free kicks favour the home side by 8 at 3/4 time. So 11-15 to 9-6. We'll be back very shortly to find out what the coaches had to say. Tony Bahagia is down there between the huddles. 15 Fitzroy 9-6, and I think Tony Bahagia is standing by. He's got 3 of his tagger. Tony?
Yes, thanks, Dennis. And, well, John Todd is certainly fired up. He's desperate for a victory, and so are the other players. He insisted they don't get carried away with that last quarter. They must run harder and maintain the pressure on Fitzroy, while David Parker, still confident they can win, wants them to tighten up, and especially out of the centre, get the ball out. He wants more from his smaller players and create the opportunities up forward.
Thanks, Tony. Well, if they're going to get the ball out of the centre square, who are they starting in there with this time? They've got Armstrong, John Todd coming off, desperate to break the slump. Armstrong, Lyon, Harris and Ironmonger will start in the centre square. And I suppose when you look at the players in this team, that's about as good as they could go with Mel.
Yes, unless you went for someone with a bit more flair, you know, someone like Conlon, or even throw Osborne on the ball, just to throw a bit of flair around it and break the game up.
Start of the final term upcoming then here at Subiaco Oval. And Fitzroy will need some early goals. Umpire Cameron to bounce it down. Pretty firm there. Not too many changes, just looking at the composition of the two sides. None to speak of. Away we go then. Can Fitzroy come back? If they can't, one senses their season is over, so plenty of incentive for them. Ironmonger wins it down. Scrambled out of the centre by Pios. Matera had a very good game. Matera long into the forward line, intended for Glendinning. Pert closing on him. Glendinning couldn't hang on. Gale crashes in. Pert and Glendinning battle off the ball. Hand passed out of there by Worsfold. Picked up by Stevens. He comes grandstand side. The numbers favour the Eagles. Rick Scott leads back in the race. He's been a willing worker. He needs support. They all peeled off away from him. Lyon well met by McKenna. McKenna's hand pass knocked down by Harris, and the umpire will ball it up.
The Eagles could nearly have wrapped the game up in the third quarter. They had 11 shots to 3, but kicked 4 goals 7. They lead 21 points. Ball up centre wing. Clean possession. Ironmonger. Harris out wide to Gale. Tried to beat the man before getting rid of it. Brockhurst eventually up towards half forward. And this ball coming from behind by Miles on Keane, and the ball out of play. McGrath, rather. Keane. Scott and Ironmonger. Ironmonger again. Trouble for you, Board. Loses it. Anir. High for Pios, giving Lyon a chance now. Ross Lyon breaks away from him. Gets the hand pass to Kapler from 52 metres. Osborne underneath it. Zanotti and Osborne both lost sight of it. Lynch's hand pass intercepted by Barrage, and the Eagles have the numbers and they can break from defence. Knocked down by Lyon. Another chance for Fitzroy. Wide to Board. Taps back, but there's nobody there. He could have gone forward. It's picked up by Miles with the outside of his boot. Gets the Eagles back to centre wing.
Terrible play by Fitzroy. Hands for Blakey. In trouble. Gets it to Harris. To Ironmonger. Back to Harris. This is Lyon. Too far out to score. Uses it brilliantly. And the mark is taken down there by Strooper. Well, Fitzroy worked hard for the last couple of minutes. A couple of golden opportunities. And both times they knocked the ball away from their own goal. Ironic tears now for Alex Ashenko to come back on the ground. Scott is coming off. Meantime, we're back with Strooper. Normally a very good kick at goal. Phil Scott has played very well. Meantime, Strooper has kicked it through for a goal for Fitzroy, so they're coming back. David Strooper has 2 goals, and that makes it interesting. 15 points the difference. And as I said, Ashenko is back on the ground. He came off at about the 15-minute mark, I think, of the opening term. Hasn't been sighted since. And this will be interesting. Ironmonger is starting to exert some influence on this game.
And Alex Ashenko will be champing at the bit to get into the contest. First bounce for Ashenko, back on the ground after about an hour off. Didn't help him. Oh, ugly tackle by Kapler, and gives away a free kick too easily to John Anir. Mainwaring clear on the wing. Blakey's given his opponent plenty of room all day. Mainwaring to half forward, gave it straight away. Poor kick. Brockhurst takes the mark.
Blakey did very well then, Drew. He worked very hard on the mark.
Yeah, it's an important part of football. You can guard a mark exactly as Blakey did then.
The Eagles lead by 15 points. And Brockhurst has kicked it straight back to the man who gave it to him, Mainwaring, but he couldn't take advantage. Ashenko over the top to Gastev. In between the half lines at the moment, and the ball goes out of play.
Murray Renstead looking on. Played in the WAFL competition yesterday. Apparently got a few kicks too. Boundary throw in meantime. Ashenko over the top, Ironmonger back towards the boundary line. Matera brilliantly done. Wally Matera superb. Bounces off a couple of Fitzroy players. Deep into attack goes the kick. Down there is Lewis, almost the one-hander. Diving on top of it. Stevens with courage. They battle after it and the umpire calls for it. 11-15 the Eagles. Fitzroy 10-6. Another goal here to Fitzroy. Mind you, it's at the wrong end of the ground. Would make it very interesting. A lot of pressure on the Eagles. Both sides playing for their football survival. Rant superbly. Hits it down to Turner. Turner's snap goes very, very high. They contest on the kickoff line. Stevens, great work in defence. Great angle on the punch. Knocked it back towards the boundary line and the presence of mind to go and retrieve it. There's Brockhurst. Men on. Fitzroy looking dangerous. They're running better at the moment. Armstrong to Harris. Another runner inside. This is Carafa. Carafa gives it to a man in real pressure. And Conlon very lucky to get out of that.
Free kick against Pios. Conlon at halfback. Oh, gave it straight away to Lamlong, to Anir. Not sure who that was meant for. It was 15 metres from Osborne. Anir's kicked to half forward. He's pushed over by Osborne, who was frustrated. It'll be a relayed free kick up the ground. The umpire having a word with Richard Osborne. And Richard Osborne having a word with the umpire. Here's the relayed free. Off hands it goes to Carafa, and he's bowled over and will take the free kick. The Eagles haven't scored in this quarter, and Fitzroy have managed just one goal. Oh. The umpire will help us out. He'll take clean possession.
No, you've got to see who's coming and where they are before you can handle like that. It was a very, very ordinary piece of play.
And he can kick, the big fella, John Ironmonger. He can kick over a distance. There's the bounce on the 50-metre defensive line for Fitzroy. Strength of Ironmonger making amends. Into the path of Harris. The hurried kick towards centre wing. Wind coming to meet it. Awkward bounce for him. Lynch tries to get it across to support. Blakey was cruising past, but the ball spills out of bounds. It's Phil Scott in the dugout. He's played well today. 11-15 to 10-6. Ashenko and Ironmonger again. One down by Ashenko. Good ruck work. Waterman goes long into the forward line. Glendinning, almost the one-hander, falls over off the ground by Pert towards the boundary line. Rance leads in the race. Claimed by Carafa. Gastiff is going absolutely nowhere. Has been penalised for holding the ball. Carafa has it in the back pocket. A war of nerves at the moment. Carafa, grandstand side. The two big fellows lumber in. Mainwaring does well. Matera, ball in dispute, could have almost been held without it. Roos bearing down on him. Gets it across to Harris. Harris goes to ground, and the umpires decided to move it and ball it up. A couple of non-decisions there, one either way from umpire camera. By and large, he's watching in awe. By and large, they've done a pretty good job. Up goes Ashenko to Rance. Just to come back on his left foot. No one woke up behind him. Not a good kick from Rance. Gastiff almost the mark. Knocked away by Harris. Taken by Matera. His kick is wayward. Gale will go back. Can he keep it in play? No, he can't. Had he been able to, that would have been handy. And plenty of time. It's 11-16 the Eagles. Fitzroy 10-6.
That was the Eagles' first score for the term in 7 minutes. Comes to the back here, and a big chance for Fitzroy to break through Armstrong. Puts it very wide. Too wide for Lynch. Strooper there with him. Strooper had to go for the boundary line. He had nobody in support. But they very quickly got it from full back to half forward flank.
Just watching those two young players and Lynch falling over, just in that effort to get to the ball, he really didn't need to fall over. And secondly, when he got clear, Strooper, he handballed the ball away. Just that presence of mind, just that bit of experience needed.
Fitzroy out of this. Conlon's kick. Up inside half forward. Two Eagles go against each other. It comes to Harris. He puts it wide for Brockhurst. In the forward pocket, 25 metres. Across the face and through for a behind.
(10-7) Fitzroy now. Eagles 11-16. Lockyer's got it. About 8 minutes gone in the term. Lockyer will go to Ashenko. Ashenko will be outnumbered. In from the side, Lynch tried to fist it away. Mainwaring confronted by Kapler. This is There's a hotly disputed ball on the outer side, and Kapler does well to get it across the boundary line. He was outnumbered 2-on-1 there. Had they got past, the floodgates could have been open. There was a fight off the ball in the middle. Harris and Pios, or is it Lyon and Pios? It's Lyon and Pios. And
Lyon's been in the more.
Yes. It's been on a short fuse today, and Pios is saying I didn't do anything to him.
Must be a lot of flies out there, Dennis.
Agitated swiping action.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it happens a lot over here. Boundary throw in. Left half forward for Fitzroy. They're dying hard, if in fact they're dying at all in this term. Lyon, inspired stuff as he crashes into the pack, and unfortunately for him it's going to be a free kick. It'll go to Mainwaring, but you couldn't doubt the commitment there of Ross Lyon. Head first into the descending pack. This is Mainwaring, meantime, on the outer side. Goes down towards half forward. Fitzroy in front. Wynn couldn't hang on. Doing well. Barrage. Well played to Turner. Opportunity for the Eagles. Turner. Did he kick that to, I think, Glendinning. Gathers on the bounce. Does Ross Glendinning. That's not his forte, snapping goals. He manages to sneak it through for a behind.
4 goals, 4 for the captain. Just 16 points the difference. So Fitzroy still in touch. Midway through the last quarter. Work it up short of centre wing. And a second grab mark. Excellent mark. Dragged in by Blakey. To Kaplan. Brilliant in the first half. Just 2 kicks in the third quarter. Oh, almost a big mark to Lynch. Osborne at the back with a chance. Tries to shrug off Zanotti. Zanotti gets help from O'Connell. Still going Fitzroy's way. Harris over the top. Out of the air by Lynch. Chance for Conlon. Osborne 35 metres out. Conlon again. 30 out. Hooks back. And goals.
Oh, gee, that was a good goal. That was a hard-working goal, wasn't it?
They almost had a lot of half chances to get to that. And Osborne thought he was going to be run down. Saw Conlon. Here it is. Lynch off the ground. Big Conlon gives it, then peels off. A quick left-handed handball, and then a great snap. I mean, it's a long way to drag the ball back.
So it's back to 10 points. Fitzroy hanging doggedly in this game. It's been a great effort as Schenko is up. Wide of the pack. Fitzroy leading the race from all directions. Gale to Wind. Towards half forward goes the kick. We've got a foot race towards the outer side. Conlon and McKenna. Well done by the youngster for the Eagles to Anea. He shows some poise. Gets the ball out wide and Turner takes the mark. 11-17 to 11-7. Dean Turner on centre wing. The early going of this final term, only 10 minutes gone. Long kick towards half forward, pack into the air. Mainwaring an opportunity, gives it across to Worsfold. Worsfold about 40 metres out from goal. It's coming back. Has he got it? It's behind. Oh, gee, that was close. Worsfold under no real pressure pushes the Eagles up to 11-18. Gary Pert in short. Armstrong back to Pert. Runs it up towards half back. Kicks towards the grandstand side of Schenko. Eagerly trying to go back into the contest. Blakey could have almost been held by the arm. Well played by Blakey. Oh, he's been penalised for holding the ball. Well, I think that was the right decision. But Blakey could be forgiven for thinking there was no justice.
Centering kick. Unmarked Worsfold. It looked as though he'd nearly kicked that last goal. And work it across towards the outer side. Mainwaring, stop and prop. Long kick from a standing start. Glendinning and Pert. It clears them. Glendinning still with a chance. Running out of room. Back he goes to Matera. A goal would cap off a big day. He's kicked it.
And he has been an excellent player too, as well as Matera. Certainly adds bite around the pack. And Ross Glendinning again really coming to the fore there. Matera 17 kicks and 7 handballs. He's had a very, very busy day indeed. The ball over the back. Ross Glendinning, the Fitzroy player, really didn't put enough pressure on him. He really should have tackled him hard. He just sort of held him up. And a great snap from Matera.
12-18, 11-7. Big fellows go at it again. Worsfold emerges with it out wide to Waterman, and the Eagles put down the challenge now. The high kick in towards half forward. Brockhurst knocks it away. Matera again, a very clever hand pass. Mainwaring should have gathered the ball, trying to soccer it forward. Think had almost been held without it. Matera, playing like a man inspired, is back into it again. Still he goes, running away from his own goal. Wally Matera, great play. Pulls it back to Rance, and the biggest roar all day comes from these parochial Eagles supporters. Here's Rance going for distance. Long gun towards full forward. That's a bomb. They'll contest right on the goal line. Was it through for a behind? No, it's going to be an Eagles mark. It'll be Ross Glendinning. And he's just the man in this situation who, running around, could pop it through. He's in the right pocket as far as the right foot is concerned. He's been very busy on the forward line, Ross Glendinning. 4 goals so far. When he's firing, the Eagles are a far better proposition. Here he goes, Ross Glendinning. Pulls it back and gets it. 5 goals to Ross Glendinning. I suppose at the end of the day, if you scored the duel between he and Gary Pert, you're going to say now that he's won, and I suppose he has, but it's been enthralling stuff, he and Pert, all day.
Yeah, terrific stuff as he watches right on the behind line, and I think Gary Pert almost thought it was going to not be a score, and then had to go late. And Ross Glendinning, a great kick for goal.
Fitzroy about to make a change. Stroop has gone to defence, and Paul Roos is moving up the ground to centre half forward. Well, those last 2 goals by the Eagles could nearly have buried Fitzroy after they got within 10 points. And maybe the champ going to the forward line can do something. Schenko with a big run at Ironmonger. Worsfold's got a lot of balls out of the middle today. There's Strooper back in defence. Seen a lot of that today, and they get pretty angry when they get to such close quarters.
Do that as well.
Once again, Fitzroy just having trouble getting that ball out the centre. They just haven't got the mix right, and a lot of them have been on John Ironmonger's right-hand side, pulling them down.
Fitzroy free, which wasn't popular with the home crowd. Armstrong in the clear centre wing, up towards half forward. Comes to the front. Roos couldn't gather. Picked up by Main Waring, who seems to be winning the ball all over the place. Barrett's free centre wing. To full forward, Lewis is there. Thumped down to the front. Here's Matera, the hero at the moment. Stevens back there in defence for the Lions. Time to steady, but he took too much time. Kicked into the pack. Back to Stevens. To centre wing. Roos and Miles. Miles hand pass into Ashenko. Oh, he dropped it red hot. Worsfold getting another difficult ball out. Main Waring once more. Eagles happy to go backwards when they can set things up. And that worked that time with the near getting a beautiful pass to Barrage. Long to full forward. Lewis with a climb. Can't mark. Still might get it yet though. Gastev picks up. The goal will seal it. And who gets it but the skipper?
Fitzroy had 2 opportunities through Stevens then to set something up a lot better than that. Unfortunately, didn't happen. As we see this play, Lewis almost. Pios pinched it. And a very clever handball through to Glendinning. 6 goals. Marvellous effort, Ross Glendinning.
So perhaps now we can say the Eagles have shaken the Lions. Well, who knows? Alex Ashenko collides there with Lyon. Lyon hasn't been Mr. Popular as far as the Eagles have been concerned today. Another very strong mark is taken by Murray Rance. He's worked hard at centre-half forward today.
And he has played at centre-half forward too, Dennis, unlike Fitzroy.
Rance's kick, not a particularly good one. Fisted away by Pert in defence. Waterman. Perhaps taken the ball. Matera does well. Worsfold's got it. Brilliantly charged down by Carafa. Carafa at half-back. Comes away to Lyon. Takes the mark, the defensive side at centre wing. To Roos. Roos inside to Strooper. Strooper goes towards half-forward. McGrath is up, but Lockyer the better judgment. Lockyer spears it down the middle to Ania. Ania goes in short. Intended for Gastev, and Gastev's taken the mark. Well, I don't know it was intended for Gastev on reflection. Glendinning was leading up the ground. Gastev goes in short. Miles has taken it 15 metres out. Miles sews it up. So Jeff Miles, a long way down the ground, gets the 15th goal for the Eagles, 15-18, Fitzroy 11-7. A gallant Fitzroy finally, one would feel, gone for the afternoon.
Pretty tall contract now for the Fitzroy side. And still they struggle to get the ball out the centre.
Fitzroy have kicked just 4 goals since half-time. And it's been in the second half where the Eagles have really buried them. Here's Conlon finding wind on his own. 35 metres out from goal. Beats Zanotti easily and kicks a goal.
See, they've hung in there, haven't they? We've got to really admire them.
That would be their easiest goal, and the real reason why is just, well, you can always get them a kick, can't you? But they got it out the centre. Yeah, and we're running.
As often happens, though, Mel, you can almost sense the Eagles think they've won the game.
Yep, sure.
Jim Wind. And the Lions, wind assisted, go to 12-7. The Eagles 15-18. So Schenko and Ironmonger. Schenko wins it down, and the Eagles win it out of the centre again. The hand pass from Matera sends Waterman away. Waterman goes down towards the pocket. Glendinning leads back in the race. The impossible angle pulls it back to the kickoff line. Well played. Stevens knocks it away. Gale's got it. Oh, great tackle. Gale, the ball jarred free as a result. After it goes Lewis, tries to paddle it across to Gastiv. Gastiv tries to knock it further afield. Carafa's in there. Rockhurst has it now. Scrambles a kick out. It's taken by Harris. Harris, the hand pass inside. Armstrong. Armstrong to Wind. Wind in the centre square. Everybody leaves him alone. He plays on quickly. Out wide to Osborne. That was the point that Malcolm was making. Very indirect without a centre-half forward. They go out towards the flanks almost every time. Osborne. Crashing into him was Miles. That seemed to be a fair bump. It's going to be an Osborne free kick, and the players again getting involved down there. Let's watch this again.
Yes, it was perfect. Oh, just that he jumped in the air. I think if he didn't jump in the air, it was a very, very hard knock, though. As we look at it here, and Miles actually jumped in the air, which just made it look not as good.
Osborne still in the hands of the trainers. He's kicked 3 goals this afternoon. It would be wise, I would suggest, to stay down and let somebody else take the kick. He wants to take the kick, but this is not the ideal circumstance. And full credit to him for getting up. But I think that perhaps after that sort of confrontation, kicking a goal from this angle might be a bit tough too. And the bench is up. All the Fitzroy people spilling over close to the boundary line. It happened right in front of their bench. Certainly Miles wasn't worried about the ball. He passed that on his way to Osborne. But I thought it was close to being within the rules. Not so, said the umpire. Osborne's got the ball. Wind, I think, is explaining where the goals are. And now Osborne will kick at his 4th. Round booing from the crowd, but really the courage of Osborne deserving of applause. He was going at that ball. He knew Miles was coming. Osborne slides it right across the face. Off hands, out of bounds in the opposite pocket. It'll be thrown in.
Interesting that Osborne should receive the boos. Schenko taps to the back. Harris's kick is smothered. Comes back to him. Now he loses control of it. Oh, Fitzroy still on the forward line. Still with a chance. It's there to be won. McGrath, the hand pass. Going nowhere. Conlon using physical strength illegally. Advantage paid. And the Eagles out of defence. To John Annear, who seems to have galloped out in the open with kilometres to spare for a lot of the time today. Main Waring. Players looking pretty tired. Through the centre they go. Matera runs away from Ironmonger. But he's kicked badly astray in the mark to Terry Board.
15-18, 108 to 12-7, 79.
50-metre penalty here for something.
Yes, it's going against the Eagles. Not sure what for. Neither is Annear. He'll have to surrender the ball. It's a feisty customer, though. John Annear. Here's Board towards half forward. Big pack into the air, off hands, opportunity for McKenna. Stood his ground very convincingly, showed a lot of courage. McGrath's over the ball, battling with McKenna. The umpire has called for it. Connell there too for the Eagles. 15-18, 12-7. So it seems the Eagles are back in the top 5 after a run of 5 losses. 6:34 and counting down. That's official remaining in this game. Still, Fitzroy keep on coming. This is Pios, met solidly by Conlon. This is Lyon. Lyon gives it across towards Conlon. That was a very untidy hand pass. Conlon deep in the pocket, pulls it back. It's gone through, I think, for a goal. No, it's touched right on the line. Lynch wrestling his opponent down there, Miles. David Parkin, his heart would have been riding on that kick.
Osborne let his man get behind him. Mainwaring takes the mark. Here's Zanotti going first run for the day, Mark Zanotti. And 2 Fitzroy players have knocked each other over behind the play, Armstrong and Osborne. And the crowd loved that one. Glendinning at centre half forward. Across towards Matera. What a mark, Wally Matera.
I think it's a terrific lesson as we look at this in replay. The commitment of 2 players there, one with an arm out and one with the body behind the ball. I think that really summed up Wally Matera's courage and excellence.
Little Wally Matera has kicked 2 today, 1 in the first quarter, 1 earlier this quarter. And this one from right in front, about 35-40 metres from goal. Right through the middle.
He's been a busy player all day as Matera, but he has been outstanding in this last quarter. Over 30 touches and played a wonderful game.
20 kicks, 11 hand passes for Wally Matera. He's had something like 7 kicks and 3 hand passes in this tour.
And a goal-kicking rover, 3 goals.
16-18 to 12-8. Back in the middle yet again as Gastiv comes away this time for the Eagles. Brockhurst leads back in the race, picks it up nicely to Carafa. Likes to have a run, does Carafa. Second bounce, whoops. Finds it again. He's on centre wing to Struper. He kicks down towards half forward. McGrath on a lead. Mashenko got his fingertips to it. Gale tries to crash his way through the pack. He was taken high. And he must get the free kick. The advantage is paid as Roos comes across the ground to win. He's in real trouble. Picked up by Osborne. Osborne surrounded. Still it's Osborne. Well played. Richard Osborne needs support. Gets it across to Kapler. He'll go close from here, Kapler. No, not one of his best efforts. A high kick. They'll contest about 5 metres out. Well done by Lockyer to Miles. Miles swings it out wide. The mark is taken by Barrett. So the clock is running down on this game. We've talked about the gallant Fitzroy, but congratulations to John Todd and the Eagles. They've been under a lot of pressure in their hometown this week, and they've responded with a win. At times today they haven't been all that convincing, but a win is a win. It breaks the problems they've had in terms of losses as Pert takes a very good mark.
He seemed to be up there for a week. And the pass just not hard enough. And it let Worsfold into the contest, soccering off the ground. Lewis leads the race out towards the pocket. He's outnumbered 2-1. Well, he needed a first touch pick up there. But he soccers it forward again. Pert. Time to spare to Roos. And he's playing centre half forward, but he's marking here at half-back flank. And again, Malcolm, your point about Fitzroy, when they've had a centre half forward, he's rarely been in that zone.
It's very difficult to win games when your side just stretches itself like that.
Mashenko charged at that. Wynn gets the hand pass away. And Armstrong sees the ball out. Time ticking down, and the Eagles back on the winning list, 16-18, leading Fitzroy 12 goals 8.
Boundary throw in. Ashenko brings it forward. Lyon is in there. Emerges with the ball. Well played to Kapler. Kapler goes across the ground, intended for Conlon. Too much carry on the kick, but he reins it in. Conlon goes towards half forward, pulled it back too far. And Gastiv, who hasn't seen much action today, goes back and takes the mark. Squares the ball. Pios. Conlon arriving late. Pios bounces off him. Feeds McKenna, who again goes across the ground. Lockyer doesn't take the mark. Has the ball though on centre wing. Andrew Lockyer. Low pass. Gathered brilliantly by Ania. He storms away to John Ania. and gives the ball away. Ford, he's not a good day, dropped it. Glendinning gets it across to Rance. Two key forwards who have played well. Glendinning, brilliant vision. Down towards Lamb in the pocket. Can he keep it in play? Lamb well shepherded by Lewis. Comes around onto his left foot. Snaps right across the face. And it sneaks through for a behind. The 19th for the Eagles. They've had a lot of scoring shots. 16-19 to Fitzroy's 12-8.
6 goals for to Ross Glendinning, and he continues to look for teammates and look for the best option for the team. Gary Pert, he's been on Glendinning all day. Good gather by Armstrong. Into Kapler. Nobody at centre-half forward again. Well, Osborne streams down the ground, and there's nobody within the 50 for Fitzroy. They go up there to cover the area now. Osborne goes for a long one. Blakey first to get there. Roos got there as well. Off hands it comes to Conlon, who goals.
Like a maul.
Yes, they've kept at it, Fitzroy, haven't they? I mean, you know, they've never touted it all day, and it's been a pretty physical game. I would suggest that most players would be pretty tired after this game. As we see that kick come into the goal square, off hands, Conlon on the ground, and excellent skills in screwing that ball around.
Well, 2 great goals in this last quarter. A left foot snap across his body and a right foot snap.
Points the difference. West Coast Eagles rolling home as Ashenko wins it wide of the pack. Waterman storming down the ground, goes looking for Lewis, the longer of the 2 options down there. Stevens knocks away. Lewis has a second chance. He's over the ball, almost held without it. This is Pert. Pert comes away almost in slow motion, draws a man to Carafa. Back to Pert, close to the boundary line. Gary Pert inside a minute now. Pert kicks the ball directly to Ashenko. Ashenko to Gaston at close quarters. He fumbles. Not a good kick. Struper couldn't control it. Worsfold's got it now. Slices the ball across the ground. Taken by Rance. Rance 40 metres out. Assesses it. And kicks a lovely goal. Murray Rance from 40 metres out. Fitting he should kick a late goal because he's played very, very well.
He actually kicked it from the centre-half forward spot. He really is. He has become an integral part of the Eagles side. Obviously today their form's been pretty good, and Murray Rance has had a lot of opportunities, and he's done it pretty well at centre-half forward.
Rance a goal in the second and final quarter. 35 points the difference. The Eagles led by 21 at 3/4 time and only 3 at half-time. So it's been a big second half by the Eagles, which has won this game. Kapler's hand pass over the top. Conlon tries to break through Gastev and does. Off the left boot, Mickey Conlon. Too far across the face of goals for a behind. 2 goals, 2. Well, I'll be on the plane with them tonight, no doubt, going back to Melbourne. It used to be a long trip back from Geelong. It'll be a very long one tonight for the Lions.
Zanotti in the back pocket. Finds McKenna. Stuck at it manfully today. Gastev for the short one. There's the siren. So the Eagles win it by 34 points. There's our final scoreline as Phil Scott comes out to congratulate his teammates. The West Coast Eagles 17-19, 121. Have defeated Fitzroy 13-9, 87. 1 points at 3/4 time, and finally by 34 points. Checking the principal goal scorers, Glendinning got 6, Matera got 3, and 2 each to Miles, Turner and Rance, and singles to Mainwaring and Lewis. For the Lions, Lynch got 3, as did Osborne, 2 each to Conlon and Struper, and singles to Armstrong, Wind and Clayton. So the final score at Subiaco Oval, 17-19, 121 to 13-9, 87. Let's take a look at the VFL ladder at the completion of round 13. So the West Coast Eagles, despite the fact they lost 5 games on the trot, with this win are back into the top 5. That's a big effort. Hawthorn 44, Collingwood 40, Melbourne 40, Carlton 36, and the Eagles 24. That middle ground, as you can see, is very congested. Geelong tipped out of the 5. They've had their opportunities in recent weeks. 24, Essendon 24 likewise. Footscray on the move. They've got 24, Sydney 24, and so on down the table to Richmond at the foot of it. Next week's games on Friday, a vital game for Sydney in Sydney. They take on Richmond. And then on Saturday, Fitzroy and North Melbourne. Both those sides, it would seem, are out of contention now. Carlton and Collingwood, what a big game that should be. Footscray and Hawthorn. That's at the Western Oval, and that's going to be a very interesting game. Geelong and Melbourne, well, the Cats have got to get back on track. Likewise with Essendon, they're at home against the West Coast Eagles, but they'd be a little down after their performance yesterday against Footscray out there. So the West Coast Eagles with a chance, I'd suggest, in that game. Bearing in mind they went very close last year. I think there was less than a kick in that game at Windy Hill. 5 points. And on Sunday, we've got the game up at Carrara between the Brisbane Bears and St Kilda. And the Bears with an opportunity to improve things from their standpoint, prospects in that game. So plenty of football upcoming, and you can follow it all on the Australian Television Network. Send and packing, well, they've done that today, I suppose.